Like a relentless weed, moderate to severe ulcerative colitis symptoms can keep coming back. Break away.
Nick A30. Attached to your back is a family-friendly explosive device. And when it hits zero... Bill! No, please! To deactivate it, you have 1 hour to find me in this custom lobby filled with 99 other Cypher PK skins. And if you succeed in doing so, I will join a Nick A30 roleplay and do whatever you want.
Whatever I want?
Your timer starts now!
No. Alright, I'm coming for you guys right now.
I also have a timer, but mine is much shorter. I have to keep eliminating Cypher PK skins. If it hits zero, I will explode.
Okay, that's good. There's too many right now. I can't see. You better eliminate people quick, Cypher, or you're going down, buddy.
Wait, Nick, where are you?
I'm down at the spawn. I'm at the spawn, bro. I'm still at the helicopter landing pad, so you can kill people.
What? I've been killing... You're lying to me, but I have been killing people. This guy's not a Cypher PK skin.
Wait, you're definitely down below. Yo, I'll give someone 13,500 V-Bucks right now to type in my chat. Wait, was that you? Oh, no.
You got the wrong person. You killed Trippin' Alex. You lost 3 minutes on your timer.
Come on, don't take my feet, please.
I don't know, Nick. I feel like you have to rally the troops. You got to bring us together or something.
You know what? Simon says everybody get to the rooftop right now, or the mods are coming for you and they're blowing up your house. Simon says everybody line up on this. Hey, is Cypher PK killing? No, he's not. This guy right here is about to. Wait. If I could ban you right now, I would. I want you to know that. I would make a phone call.
I'm immune.
You're lucky you got an icon skin, bro. You're lucky. Okay, hey! You! He's running away! No! Simon says freeze! No! Oh my god, okay. 51 minutes. This is not good. Okay, Simon says everybody crouch. Simon says everybody line up single file against this wall that I'm looking at right here.
Nick, I have 2 minutes on my timer.
Yeah, so we're going to delay this. Hey, who did that spray? Simon says, get over here. Who did that? Simon says, you are just dead. And there's nothing you can do about it, Simon says, A-team, crouch if you think he should die. Well, that's good enough for me. That's the majority. Any final emotes? No! Wait, you said...
What's going on here?
You are so cheeky, bro. You are so cheeky.
Who threw that smoke nade, bro? Who threw that smoke nade?
What else you got up your sleeve, Cypher?
Not much. Maybe some secret runes here and there, you know?
You think you're so good? Kill someone right now. You won't. Wait! Simon says freeze! Simon says jump. What the heck? This guy... Yo, what the... Are you hiring people to grief my game?
No, okay, you just lost 3 minutes on your timer.
Oh, I forgot about that. Simon says everybody jump off and go to the front of the POI over where I'm running right now. Right down here. I'm trying to hide from him, guys. I'm trying to see if he stays behind and tries to hit anybody. You really didn't stay behind and try to shoot anybody? Wow. No way! I killed someone else. I got 41 minutes. Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
What have I done?
I just went crazy, bro.
Okay, here we go. Everybody make a circle around this giant statue. Everyone make a circle around this giant statue. If Cypher PK kills, he's going to reveal himself so easily here. You're not getting away with it, brother. You're not getting away with it. Okay,
oh, no,
Simon says, everybody crouch.
No peanuts, no gluten, nothing green. I want cute shapes, I want a dessert but not sugary. And if there's hummus, there will be consequences.
Yes, chef.
Co-pilot, let's make a 5-day meal plan for my 9-year-old. No peanuts, gluten, green things, or hummus.
Sure, here's a 5-day plan to keep lunchtime stress-free.
Thanks, Mom.
Now, how can I get her to eat more greens? I've got a few ideas.
Everybody, Simon says, look at the person you think is the real Cypher PK. Look in the direction. Wait, what is this?
I'm not even streaming, so they can't know.
Did you hire people to greet me, bro?
I don't know. I don't know why they're looking at you.
Cypher, I don't like your crew, bro. I don't like your. Wait. Was it you? Was it you?
This is so fun.
Wait, you, freeze. Cypher, any final words?
Yeah. Catch that.
You monster. Where the heck are you? No.
Oh, I gotta keep my timer up, bro. I gotta keep my timer up.
Chat, A-Team, help me. Give me an idea to reveal Cypher PK. I'm about to cheat now.
You can do anything. You can do anything to try to catch me, Nick.
Anything?
What's your timer at, Nick?
39 minutes. I'm scared, bro. Don't remind me, please.
You're in trouble. I'm at 3 minutes though. Like I have to kill. I can't.
Okay.
It's a little risky right now.
Everybody, jump. I feel like Cypher's gonna look for an opportunity to kill someone in the middle because that's where the majority of people are. So I'm not gonna let you get away with it.
I like how everyone's spread out. I like that.
They're actually helping you. These guys are monsters.
They just don't want to die.
All right. Everybody follow me inside the POI. Everybody get in the POI. Go. I'm already in here. What a demon.
Wait, I lost track of you, Nick. I don't like killing when I don't know where you're at.
Yeah, you should. Okay, everyone in the water, guys, in the center POI. Everyone in the water. No one on the statue. Everyone has to be in the water. If Cypher kills, I'm gonna see it. Quick, guys, you have to all get in here, otherwise Cypher's gonna get kills. We want his timer to run out here. In. Everybody in. I don't like the way this guy's running like this. Everybody in the water. Cypher, you gotta kill, bro. You're gonna die.
Dude, my timer is running low.
In the water.
Where are you? Where are you, Nick? Are you in the water with us?
Yeah, I'm in the water.
You're lying.
No, I'm in. I'm definitely not gonna find you if you kill someone. Are you hiding? Wait. I know what you're doing.
What am I doing?
He's above, guys. He's trying to get a good angle. Wait, he just killed. Yo, Cypher, kill someone else. I'm not there. I'm not looking. Go ahead. Don't be shy, bro. You don't gotta be shy around me. Come on, Cypher. Do it. Do it now.
I hit somebody with a deagle from a distance. No, but this is not good. This is not good.
Wait. Guys, everybody in the water and crouch in the water. Wait, are you killing with a pistol? I know what you're doing. How do I get up there? How do I get up on the high ground? No, you're on top. What was that? No. I'm at 33 minutes. I messed up.
You killed somebody? Oh no.
I thought it was you. Be honest with me. Are you inside the building or are you on top? Be honest.
We got a good vantage point right now.
You little son of a god. Oh, never back down. Oh, that's so cool. Hey, guys, everybody come around here. Okay, everybody get out of the water. Cypher's sniping from above. Everybody come to the front. We're going back up top, guys. Follow me. Take the stair. Oh, he's got his shotgun out now. Everybody go up top.
Oh, come on, bro. There's still 65. It's only going to get harder. As the video goes on and there's less and less people, it's going to be so much harder for me to sneak eliminations in.
Guys, I'm muted right now. What I got to do is I got to tell them to go somewhere, and then I got to lurk behind and wait to see if Cypher kills someone from behind. Yeah, okay.
Oh, no.
I know what I need to do. Everyone get to the very top, guys. There's bounce pads. Look, come outside. Over there. Okay, everybody go to the top. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to wait, and I'm going to see him kill people, guys. All right, watch.
I don't hear you. I don't see you up here at the top, Nick.
Wait, what?
I don't see you at the top.
You're actually up there? I was trying a little strategy.
Yeah, I know. You're trying to throw me off.
Everyone make a square and look down towards the water on the edge. Jump on top and just look down.
Yup.
Cypher PK, I have a question for you.
What's up?
Are you with us
I
on
am.
the high ground?
I am.
So you're not down below looking? What the heck is that guy doing down there?
Look down in the water. Do you see that guy?
Yeah, who is that? Was that you? You monster! You are. I'm up here. I'm gonna get you. I see you.
No, he's just trying to buy time. I needed time, bro. I needed time.
Stop. Everyone jump down, guys. I'm jumping down. Everyone jump down. All the way to the bottom of the water.
But I see you, Nick. I see you hiding on the balcony.
You son of a gun, bro.
I know.
Guys, if you want to go to a new POI, everyone come around me and start jumping. I think it's settled then. All right, we are going to a new POI. Welcome to Pleasant Park.
Woo, we're OG.
Everybody line up on the white line in this soccer field right here behind me. Single file, guys. Single file. I'll give you V-Bucks, I promise, if you guys listen. I'll give you V-Bucks. Disclaimer, I don't know if I actually will. Depends on if I kill Cypher. Okay. Simon says crouch.
Come on, guys. Crouch.
Simon says crouch. Simon says stand. All right. Simon says everybody disperse. Everyone go over to this tree right here. Wait.
Sorry.
Simon says everybody in this house where I'm shooting over here. We're going to the second floor. The very top, second floor.
Guys, you have to get inside the house from the front.
Where are you, Cypher?
Inside the house.
Wait, really?
Yeah, I'm just trying to help people out, you know?
No, you're actually in there. Oh my god, I messed up. No. Hold on. Guys, where is he? Pinpoint me to him. Come on. Tell me, I'll save your lives, guys. I'll save your lives. You're probably hot. Oh, look at that. You got an escape room? No way. Okay.
Pizza deal. 2 large pizzas for $4.99 each.
You get a pizza. You get a pizza.
We all get pizza.
Get 2 large pizzas for $4.99 each. Online only. Little Caesars is the real deal.
Pizza. Everyone get out of the house. Everyone get out of the house. Okay. Everyone on top of this house right here now.
Nick, what's your timer at?
I'm at 27 minutes as I'm scared to kill. Okay. Everyone on top of this roof right here. Single file behind me. Now, I want everyone to crouch. Wait, this guy that's running. Where'd he go? I literally.
Are you sure, Nick? Are you sure? Oh my god, Nick! You can't afford to do that, Nick.
What do I got? 23 minutes. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, everybody follow me to the gas station now, guys. I want everybody inside the gas station. The thing is, I can't even threaten to kill them if they don't listen, because then I lose my timer. This is so bad. Everybody in there, guys, and you will be rewarded with V-Bucks. Every single one of you. You're getting 10,000 V-Bucks each if you all... Oh! What? You just... You! Oh my...
No! Nick, that timer's looking slim right now. 19 minutes.
Okay. Everybody in the house right now. Okay, everyone leave the house. Keep going through. Where the heck? You stop. You up in the air. Stop. Come down. Come right here. Any final emotes? side. Oh! Wait! He's up top. Wait, is that you? Which one? Wait, oh my, there's no way. I don't even know which one to kill. Wait, Cypher, are you up here on the chimney?
I'm not gonna tell you, Nick.
I got a 1 in 4 chance, 1 in 5 chance to kill you right here. There's so many of them. Tell me. Are you up on
Nick,
the chimney?
Listen, I'll give you some advice. I would not kill anybody right now. There's still 40 people alive. You got a lot. You don't have a lot of time. You're low on your time right now.
I'm powerless. Okay, everyone hit this bounce pad right here. Everyone hit this. Hey, wait. Actually, everyone line up and come back. We're gonna hit it together. I've got an idea. Guys, I'm gonna hit it and then look back instantly. Come diving back. I'm gonna see Cypher PK eliminate someone. Watch this. He's gonna take the bait. Everyone line up. Everyone line up. When I say 3, 2, 1, go, we're all gonna hit the bouncer. Okay? 3, 2, 1, go. Wow, you really are too scared to go for a kill there. That's crazy.
I got a kill. I got a kill.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Here's what I want. I want everyone to go to that house in the corner right there. Let's all go there. He just always finds a way to get people killed when I'm not looking, huh? This guy. If this was a custom that I was hosting, you'd be banned, Cypher. I hope you know that.
Oh, for sure.
And I called the mods after you. Okay, everybody go inside that house. Wait, a pistol? What the heck? Everybody in the house. Oh. What the heck? Where? Do it again. You won't. Get another kill right now. Right now, you won't, Cypher. I promise you won't. You're too scared.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, I will.
Scared.
I'm not scared. I'm not scared.
What the heck? Wait. Comes up above. Stop. Okay, you guys gotta stop acting so sus every time someone gets killed. When I hear a kill, everybody starts running. It should only be Cypher running. You guys are not part of the A team. That's it.
Double kill.
Man.
What's your timer at?
Dude, every single one of these Cypher skins is so sus, it's like they're not making it easy on me, let me tell you. Everybody out in the streets where you belong, line up single file behind me.
You gotta get real strict with us here. You gotta get real strict here.
I can't even kill, bro. I can't even kill. Okay, guys, everybody line up and freeze, please. Okay, freeze. Freeze. Do not move. We are gonna wait it. How about Cypher? How much time do you have?
I have 6 minutes and 30 seconds.
That's all I need because you want to know why?
You're just gonna have us wait here.
Exactly.
Listen,
so I'm gonna outlast you. I'm gonna outlast you. Unless you have some secret tricks up your sleeve, you literally cannot outwin me if I just sit here.
Listen, I'll tell you what I have. I have a deagle. I have a shotgun. I have shockwaves and smoke nades.
Oh, great. Okay,
now,
this is bad.
I would have to pull out a shockwave or a smoke nade for you to see it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay. So
if everyone's moving around like this, then you're not going to see it.
Okay, so everybody freeze. Guys, everybody freeze,
guys,
please.
Everyone follow Nick's instructions, please.
Wow, you're actually helping. You're so nice. This is why I like you more than Courage AD. Don't tell him, all right?
Because I'm confident I'm going to win.
No, that's not happening. Guys, hey, stop. You. Don't do it anymore. Hey, freeze! I need to see the motion, guys. Like, I need to be I need to be pinpointing any subtle movements, and you guys emoting is not helping.
Yeah, 5 minutes.
I'm trying to see if he swaps.
Oh no.
Anyone moves, you die. Test me. I dare you to. Test me. Yeah. Who's next? 10 minutes.
God.
I don't care, bro. I'm ready.
Oh my God.
Test
okay, but I
me.
still have 5 minutes right now.
Okay, everyone slowly walk down here while walking. Just walk behind me. You monster. What's your time limit?
5 minutes, 50 seconds.
Soon you're going to be above mine. I'm at 9 minutes and 45 seconds. Okay, everybody line up single file behind me. Single file, guys. Single file right here. Single file.
Oh, you got me! No way! Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen.
What?
Now I have to do a role play with Nick. Oh no.
Anything, Cypher.
Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I lost to Nick 830. He earned it fair and square.
We'll hang later. You only have so much time. So feed Science Diet with our clinically proven antioxidant blend, helping pets live healthier as long as possible. Because you're only human, there's hills.
Place your card. Slide to the right and the card's locked. Unlocked. Well, the Chase mobile app has card lock. And it has encryption technology to help you keep your data safe. That's peace of mind from Chase.
Isn't that crazy? Well, I have to. I mean, because I have my sports show in an hour, and I want to build up my viewership on Fortnite before stopping over. Good old Dean. Good old Dean. No, no leak today. I want a water really bad. I'm gonna ask Jess to bring me one. I'm gonna flip the tables on her, chat. Actually, you know what? I have a Just water in the fridge next to me.
Yo, what's good, everybody? It's Austin here, or Luna. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Thursday today. I just woke up. It's 6 p.m., 6:12, as I'm looking at the clock right now. My sleep schedule is so good. Yeah, there's no better feeling than waking up at 6 p.m., not knowing if it's 6 p.m. or 6 a.m. It's great. But yeah, I'm here. I'm making this video. It's a crazy one. It's an interesting one. It's one of my favorites. I know I say that about a lot of my stories, but it is really one of my favorites. Like, I promise. You'll see why. You'll see why. This is good. This is good. This ain't like anything else on this channel, I promise. So, today's story time, it all takes place back in 2014. Now, in 2014, I do not know why, but I surrounded myself with some of the worst friends in my entire life. This takes place when I was 15. Yeah, so it was the summer of 2014. I was 15 years old. And life was going pretty good back then, from what I remember. I definitely was getting in a little bit of trouble back then. I wasn't the best, kid. But my friends were a lot worse. And what I mean by that is, like, they were really not that good. Like, at 15, I had 2 friends that were on probation. Being on probation at 15 is insane. Like, you kind of had to, like, try to be on probation back then. Like, you have to get in trouble so many times in a row or do something so terrible that they put you on probation as a minor. And, like, that's pretty wild to me. I've definitely, like, met people at 16, 17 that are on probation. I'm like, okay, like, makes a little more sense. They're closer to adulthood. But at 15, it's very young to be on probation. And I had 2 friends that were both 15 and both on probation. Now, today's story time is about one of those friends. We'll just call him Alex, okay? Now, I had met Alex at 14 in school, and we became close pretty fast. And like I said earlier, he was definitely one of those friends that wasn't the best kid. Now, I wasn't a saint either. I definitely, had my fair share of being a shithead teenager. But yeah, Alex was on probation.
Is this a podcast?
Now, you're probably wondering, Austin, what was Alex on probation for? It was a lot of stuff. I remember he got caught smoking in school at one point. And then after that, he got caught smoking in school 2 weeks later again. He got kicked out of school. And then he got kicked out of his other school for fighting. He got like 3 different fights. Then outside of school, he kept getting in fights as well and getting caught with weed and stuff. And at one point, he ran from the police. And it was a bunch of stuff in such a short period of time that he essentially had to get put on probation. I also want to add that he wasn't the best at talking to people. And what I mean by that is, like, when he would get caught by the police and he would get in trouble at school, instead of being, like, apologetic or, like, trying to be nice and, sorry about it, kind of like how I would, he would just shit talk. I remember one time he got in an argument with a mall security guard, and, like, they were about to kick us out of the mall. And instead of just being like, yeah, my bad, man, like, we'll chill out, he was like, fuck you, bitch. Fuck you. Do some shit. Do it. Come on, do some shit. You can't do shit. And then naturally we got kicked out of the mall. Now, I know after I say that, some of you are probably like, dude, this Alex dude sounds like an asshole. Why'd you even hang out with him? You sounded like a total dick. He really wasn't. Even though, like, he got in a bunch of trouble and was kind of a hothead, he was a good kid. Like, when he wasn't in those bad moods and when he wasn't being such a shithead, he was a really good kid. And to this day, I actually still talk to him, and he's actually way better now. So that's kind of good to know. But yeah, anyway, Alex, back when we were 15, was definitely a little bit of a shithead. That's all I'm saying, right? So this all starts off as a normal day back then. It was summer, like I said, so I had nothing planned on this day. So I woke up with pretty much almost full freedom to do whatever I wanted. I could, play video games. I could hang out with friends if I wanted to. Pretty much anything I wanted to do, I could probably do it as long as I asked my mom, right? So I woke up on this day around like 11:30 a.m., 12 p.m. That's pretty much when I woke up every day during summertime. And I really wanted to do something. I knew that. I wanted to do something. So I jumped up out of bed, took a shower, got ready for my day, and then I jumped on Xbox where a bunch of my IRL friends were in a party. And I joined and I was like, yo, what's up, guys? And they were like, not much, just playing COD. And I was like, all right, I'm probably not going to play or be on for too long because I'm trying to do some shit today. Do you guys want to do anything? I'm trying to link up. And for some reason, nobody wanted to do anything except Alex. Alex was in there and he was like, yeah, I'm down, man. So most of my friends just stayed on Xbox and kept playing COD when Alex was like, yeah, man, I'm down. So after this, I jumped off Xbox 5-10 minutes later after talking to them for a little bit. Alex said he'd be at my house in about 30 minutes. So I just kind of wanted to get ready for that. So I ate something really quick. I ate some food and just kind of, quickly got ready. Got dressed in some nicer clothes because me and Alex were probably going to be going out of the house. And I didn't want to just wear some lounge clothes, some pajamas. So I ended up getting ready pretty quick. And then I just kind of sat around for 10 minutes. And Alex pulled up. Actually, he rode up. He was on his bike. And he came in. And me, him, and my mom kicked it for a little bit. My mom was at the table, eating something. And we kicked it with her for a little bit. And she asked us what we were going to get up to today. And I asked her if it was cool if we went to the mall, if we rode our bikes there. And she was like, that's fine. Just, stay out of trouble. And I was like, I will. I lied. We didn't stay out of trouble. You'll hear why in a minute. But, yeah, anyway, after that, we jumped on our bikes and we rode over to the mall. Now, the mall that I lived near growing up was a pretty nice mall at the time. I liked it. I loved it. It was fun. I was there a lot in my childhood. I talk about it a lot in these stories. But on weekends and during the summertime, they had a curfew. So if you were under 17 and you didn't have an adult, you would get kicked out if it was past 4 p.m. Now, luckily, we were at the mall before curfew. We got there at I don't know, probably 1 or 2, something like that. I don't know. It was before curfew. We had a couple hours before we had to get kicked out or leave. So we were good, right? We had some time to chill. So I did what I always do at the mall. I went to Taco Bell and then I ate it at one of the tables. And it's funny because I literally just eaten at home, but I was so Taco Bell addicted that I ate it anyway when I wasn't even that hungry. Also, I had a family member working at that Taco Bell. He was my cousin, and he would just hook me up with free food all the time. So I spent $2 this day, and I got $20 worth of shit. And back then, in 2014, in that economy, $20 worth of shit, that's a lot of Taco Bell, okay? A lot. Too much. I ate 2 burritos, and I felt like I was going to die. And then fucking Alex, he ate 2 or 3, and he felt like he was going to die. And we had so much food left that we ended up just giving it to a random family. We walked up, and we were like, yo, we can't finish this. It's all untouched. Take it. And they were like, okay. And they took it. So, yeah, free food for them. Anyway, after the Taco Bell endeavor, we walked around a little bit, checked out some stores. I actually ended up buying a really nice hoodie from Zoomies because I ripped a hole in my old one, and my mom gave me some money to buy a new one with, so that was nice of her. So yeah, I bought this cool hoodie, and after that, me and Alex just walked around the mall kind of aimlessly, just window shopping, checking out stores and stuff, and it was cool, man. It was fun. Had a good time. And before we knew it, it was 4 p.m. We had to leave, or we had to risk getting kicked out because now curfew was in place, and me and Alex both weren't 17. So I remember I looked over at Alex, and I was like, all right, man, it's 4. You want to just leave? He goes, honestly, man, I say we just risk it. I say we just walk around and we see if we get kicked out. Now, honestly, I'm not going to lie. I had done that before. There's been plenty of times where I would go after curfew with friends of mine, and sometimes the mall security just wouldn't care. They wouldn't kick us out, or we just happened to not encounter any. So there was a chance that we would just not get kicked out. So I was like, all right, man, if you want to try that, we can try. But if they ask us to leave, let's just leave. I don't want to argue with them. He's like, don't worry, man, I won't. Now, that was kind of a lie, but you'll see. Anyway, so we start walking around, doing what we were doing before, just kind of window shopping, going around stores and stuff. And we end up staying an hour after curfew without getting kicked out. But around 5 p.m. or so, 5:30, is when mall security finally noticed us there. And these 2 security guards approached us outside of one of the stores. And this one guy's like, hey guys, you gotta go. Unless you're 17, you gotta go. And Alex speaks up and he goes, well, we are 17. And I'm thinking to myself, oh man, here we go. He's gonna start a problem. He's already lying to them. This isn't gonna be good. And the security guard goes, okay, you're 17, can I see your IDs? And we're both like, we don't have IDs. Because we didn't have IDs. Literally, we were kids. We didn't have an ID yet. On it. And last time I checked, 17-year-olds are not in middle school. So, yeah, that wouldn't have been good. And one of the security guards was like, well, do you have a school ID or something? Like a high school ID? Because if you're a high schooler, then you're probably old enough to be here. Now, like I just said, I didn't have that. I only had a middle school one. So I nodded my head no, and so did Alex. And the security guard's like, well, on that note, you guys gotta leave. Unless you can prove that you're 17 to me, you gotta go. And Alex kind of argues back. Alex is like, come on, man. Like, we're obviously old enough to be here. Like, we're not causing a problem. Like, come on. And the security guard laughs, and he's like, yeah, man, I get it. You guys aren't causing a problem, but you don't look 17 to me. And I gotta enforce the rules, dude. If I don't, I'll get fired. And the security guard was honestly being very cool about it. It's not like he was being a dick. He wasn't trying to, like, abuse his power and, like, act super, like, above us. He was just being like, hey, man, I gotta do my job. And Alex kind of understood that after this and kind of gave up with arguing with him. And we're both like, okay, we'll leave. So we turn and we start walking towards the exit. And while we're walking towards the exit, this other security guard, not the one that was being cool and that was talking to us, the other guy that was being quiet the whole time, he walked up behind me and Alex, and he, like, put his hand on both of our shoulders and was, like, walking us towards the door, to which, like, both of us kind of, like, walked away from that. We're like, yo, don't touch us. Like, stop. Because, like, bro, we're going towards the door. We're leaving. We're not going to, like, you know, run away or something. And we were, like, clearly listening to instruction. Like, we literally had an agreement with this other security guard that we were going to leave. So, yeah, we kind of didn't like that guy touched us. And we both were like, yo, don't do that. And the one guy, the nice one, even he was on our side. He's like, there's no need to touch him. Like, they're going towards the exit. Don't worry. And this other guy goes, I don't trust them. I think they're going to run. And Alex was like, bro, I'm not going to fucking run. I'm going towards the exit right now. Like, calm down. And once again, even the other security guard's like, no, like, they're not going to run. Like, calm down. Like, clearly he's on our side, right? And this other security guard, Mr. Paranoid, he's like, well, I don't really trust you guys. Like, come on, let's hurry up. Let's get to the door. And I was like, all right, bro. And we get to the door, and we walk out, and we start leaving, but not before Alex turns around and yells at this other security guard, the one that was kind of being, you know, strange towards us. And he yells at the guy, he goes, take your job a little less seriously, buddy, for fuck's sake. And the guy yells back, and he's like, get out of my mall. And Alex is like, your mall, motherfucker? This ain't your mall, you work here. And they start arguing, and the other security guard, like, kind of pulls the one security guard inside and, like, breaks it up, and I pull Alex towards my direction. And we stopped them from arguing very quick, because obviously we didn't want to stand there for 10 minutes and listen to them bicker at each other. So after that, after we got out of there, Alex was kind of pissed off. He was like, man, fuck that dude. Like, that dude's a fucking bitch. Like, he's, like, shit-talking him. And I was like, yeah, whatever. At least the other guy was cool. And after that, we were walking outside the outside of the mall. We were, like, on the outside. It was one big circle, the mall. So we were, like, walking around the outside perimeter. We were going around to the other side, because that's towards, like, where my house was. And we were on the other side of the mall. That's where the exit was that we left. So, yeah, we're walking around the outside. And this mall, it was a pretty big mall, right? So there was cops there a lot. They had, like, police there pretty much 24/7. So you would see cop cars, usually multiple of them, around this outside, like, circle of the mall. And sometimes they'd be, like, right outside some of the exits. And sometimes they'd be, like, right on the sidewalk. And as we were walking around the outside of the mall, we come across this police SUV that is, like, pretty much parked on the sidewalk. And the driver's side door is just wide open. And there's no police officer in it. And there's an iPhone sitting on the ground, like, right underneath the driver's side door of this police car. Like, pretty much right underneath the door on the concrete. And Alex looks at me and he's like, yo, that's the new iPhone. And I was like, dude, that cop probably got out of his car and, like, dropped it on accident. Like, let's just put it, like, on his seat or something. And then Alex kind of has a scumbag idea. He's like, bro, like, what if it's not that cop's? What if it's some random guy's? And, like, he left it here before he went home, and the cop didn't see it. But let's just take it. It's a new iPhone, bro. I think it's worth hundreds of dollars. We could sell it right now across the street at this pawn shop. And I was like, bro, no. We're not doing that. Hell no. That's fucking mean. Even if it's not that cop's phone, that's someone else's phone. I would hate if someone took my phone and sold that shit. And Alex kind of, like, sees the light. He's like, yeah, you're right, man. Like, that is kind of fucked up. My bad for even thinking like that. I was like, you're good, bro. And he ends up picking up the phone, and he goes to put it on the seat of the cop car, and he reaches in to put it on the seat, and just as he goes to do that, the cop comes out of the store he was parked in front of this mall. They have like their own little entrance and exit. And the cop runs out and he goes, "Hey, what are you doing in my car?" Now, this doesn't look good for Alex. He's on probation. He's reaching into a cop's car with his phone in his hand. The cop's phone, most likely. And it looks like he's stealing out of the cop's car, bro. It literally looks like he's stealing the cop's phone. Like, to the cop. Now, obviously, what should have been done next is Alex should have backed up, left his phone on his seat, and been like, "Hey, officer, I was just putting your phone back. I found it on the ground." And, explain to the police officer the situation, because clearly the cop was on edge and, thought that, we were trying to, steal from him or some shit, or Alex was trying to at least. But unfortunately, Alex panicked, probably because he thought he would go to jail or something, and he turned around and he ran away. But here's the bad part. He ran away with the cop's phone still in his hand, and the cop straight up screams, "Get back here and give me back my fucking phone." So, yeah, it was the cop's phone. That confirmed it right then and there. So now it really looks bad, because it looks like Alex just reached into the cop's car, stole his phone, and then ran. And I'm freaking out because Alex is running and the cop's chasing him, and I'm standing there outside this cop car, and people that are leaving and entering the mall are looking at me like, what the fuck's going on? So I start running towards them, because I'm like, okay, I'm going to follow them, and if the cop catches Alex, I'll tell the cop, look, he didn't do anything wrong, he's just stupid, he freaked out and he ran away. But they were too far ahead of me. I started running too long after them, and they kind of just outran me pretty quick. That cop was fast as fuck too. So I end up losing them, right? So I decide to just give up. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go back to the mall. I'll wait there. I'll call up my mom or something, have her come pick me up, and then explain to her what happened, and maybe she can get him out of this. Maybe she can help Alex, because my mom was friends with some people on the police department from growing up with them and stuff. So I thought maybe she could pull some strings. I don't know, right? So I walk back towards the mall. When I get back to the mall parking lot, there is now 4 more police cars there behind the original one. And I walk back towards the sidewalk, and the cops are giving me kind of a bad look. They're giving me a dirty look. And I was like, what the fuck? Are they waiting for me? What's going on right now? And as soon as I get close enough to them, one of them walks over and turns me around and starts handcuffing me. And I was like, whoa, what the fuck's going on right now? I didn't do anything wrong. What the hell? And the one guy's like, yeah, well, we don't know that yet. You fit the description of this guy we're looking for. And I was like, no, you're looking for my friend. It's not me, I promise. And this cop's like, yeah, that's what they all say. And I was like, no, actually, it's not me. But he doesn't listen. He does not listen at all. He cuffs me. He ends up patting me down, finds nothing on me except my phone and my wallet. I even hear him say the words, "It's not the same color as Dave's phone," assuming Dave is the cop that got his phone taken by Alex. And he ends up sitting me in the car with the door open. I'm trying to talk to him and the other ones, and they're all just ignoring me, right? Completely ignoring me. And I'm freaking out inside. I'm having a fucking panic attack. I'm in the back of a cop car for something I didn't even do. And I don't like that. It's not fun being in the back of a cop car for some shit that you didn't do. It's not good, right? It's not fun. And while I'm sitting there, about 5 minutes later, I'm looking out the window of this cop car, and I see the other cop walking back to the mall with Alex in handcuffs. And I wasn't happy that my friend got arrested and got caught, but I also was, because now I knew that I would get unhandcuffed and get out of that car and not have to be in this situation anymore, and explain to the police yo, my friend wasn't trying to do any harm, But unfortunately, that's not how it went. So they brought Alex back, and they put him in the same car as me. And after they put him in the same car, I see the other cop, the original one, that got his phone taken. He pulls his phone out of his pocket, and he goes, "I got it." And I try and yell at him. I'm like, "Hey, man, look, it's not what you think. My friend here is just stupid. We saw it on the ground. I was trying to tell him to pick it up and put it on your seat. He was not stealing from you." And the cop goes, "Well, if he wasn't stealing from you, why'd he run off with it?" And I was like, "Honestly, man, I don't know." And I turned around, I looked at Alex for some clarification. And Alex straight up says, "Honestly, I thought I was fucked already for looking like I was stealing from you. So I thought, may as well steal from you." So he basically just admitted that he then had the intention to steal, which was not very smart of him, because now the cop was pissed and very, very upset and very, very angry. And now it kind of confirmed what the cop was, suspicious about. Alex was technically trying to steal his phone now. Originally, that wasn't the plan, but once he saw the cop running towards him, that was the plan. So yeah, I kind of figured that Alex was 110% fucked, to be honest. I was like, yeah, it's done. Alex is going to jail today because he's already on probation. He's already got a record. And he's trying to steal a police officer's phone. Literally one of the worst ideas on earth, right? So we're sitting there in the back of the cop car. The cops are all in a circle. They're conversing. And they're in this little circle kind of far away from us, so I couldn't really hear what they were saying. And I just wanted to be let go, dude. I just didn't want to be in the back of that car anymore. There was no point in me being back there. I didn't do anything. I was not in on this. But for some reason, this cop and his friends thought that I was in on this. I don't know. Anyway, we sit back there for about 5 minutes while they're all talking, and the one cop comes up to us, the main one, the original one, the one that got his phone taken by Alex. He comes up to both of us, and he points to me, and he goes, "You, what's your name?" And I tell him my full name, and he recognizes my last name. He goes, "Hey, do you have an uncle named this?" And that was my uncle. I was like, "Yeah, I do." And he goes, "Huh, that's funny. I grew up with him. We live down the street from each other." And I was like, "Yeah?" And he goes, "Yeah, how's he doing nowadays?" And I was like, "Good." He's like, "Man, when he was growing up, he was crazy. He was doing the same kind of stuff that you're doing here today. Like, literally, you're just like him." And I was like, "Look, I'm telling you the truth, 110%.
Yeah, eBay.
Real strength isn't pushing through pain, it's treating it. When there's no pain, there's more gain. Advil targets pain caused by inflammation for fast, strong relief. Advil, that's real strength.
Checkers and Rally's $4 unbeatable meal deal is getting glowed up.
Yeah, I rocked the drive-through back in the day. Guess I still do.
Get yours with fries, drink, and dessert. Just $4.
Let's glow!
Only at Checkers and Rally's.
This is different.
It's a big galaxy out there, and I'm gonna risk it all.
It is time we made our move.
Like, on everything. I had nothing to do with what happened here today. The only thing that I did was tell my friend to leave the phone here for you. That was it. Like, it's all one big, like, just unfortunate situation. And the cop goes, "Look, whether you had something to do with it or not, you're not getting arrested, you're not going to jail, okay? You didn't take my phone, you didn't run away from me when I tried to stop you. Like, you came back, you're not in trouble, you didn't do anything illegal today, okay? Your friend, however, I can't say the same." And I turn over and I look at Alex, and he's got his head down, just looking defeated, man, looking so defeated. He knew he was 110% screwed, because he was on probation already. The cops, by the way, didn't even know that yet. Like, they hadn't looked us up yet. Like, they had my name, and they had Alex's name, but they hadn't looked us up yet because they probably just assumed we didn't have a record, or, like, they just didn't get around to it yet. But a few minutes later, after we were done talking to this cop, he went back to his car, and he looked us up. And then things got pretty interesting. So the cop walks back to the car, the one that Alex took his phone. This cop comes back to the car, he opens the door, and he goes, "Well, you have quite the record." And he points to Alex. And Alex looks at him, and he's like, "Yeah, I know." And the cop goes, "Probation? At 15 years old? What are you doing, man? Like, you're a kid. This is way too young for this kind of stuff." And Alex is like, "Yeah, I don't know. I made some bad choices." And the cop goes, "Yeah, you have. Just like today. You made a bad choice." And Alex just goes, "Am I going to jail?" And the cop goes, "Probably. I gotta figure this out." And he closes the door, and he walks back to his car. And we're just sitting in the back of this other cop car, looking out the window, watching this cop sit in his car, on his little, like, computer. And then at one point, I see him on the phone, and the other cops are standing near him as well by his car. And I'm just, like, really wondering what's going to happen. I knew that I would probably be okay. I knew that, like, not much was probably going to happen to me, because, like, I didn't do anything really. I knew my mom would be pissed, because, you know, having to tell her that I was talking to the cops wouldn't be fun, but I knew I'd probably be okay, right? But I was really worried about Alex. I didn't know what was going to happen. I fully expected to have to watch him drive away in a cop car on this day. Now, about, like, 5 minutes later, that cop comes back, he opens the door, and he goes, "What's your parents' phone numbers?" And I gave him my mom's, and then Alex gave his mom's, and he closes the door again. And Alex looks at me and he's like, "Dude, fuck, like, they're calling my mom." And I was like, "Yeah, man, of course they're calling your mom. You just tried to fucking steal a cop's phone. Like, bro, why would you run off like that with it?" He's like, "Dude, I don't know. I thought I was fucked anyway. I thought it was over for me. Like, I thought may as well just try and make some money off it." And I was like, "Dude, like, you wouldn't even make shit off that phone. That pawn shop probably would have given you like $100. And then what was the plan, bro? What was the plan then? Stay on the run forever as a teenager? Like, they're gonna fucking find you. And then what? You go to jail over an iPhone that you tried to pawn? Like, come on, man." And I'm kind of like bitching at him. And he's like, "Yeah, I know. I'm fucking stupid." So, bro, you're not stupid. It's just like you act too much on impulse rather than like thinking sometimes. He's like, "Yeah, I know." And I felt bad for him, man. I really did. The worst worst part too, man, is his probation wasn't even that much longer. He was almost done with it. So yeah, it was unfortunate timing, right? Well, about 15 minutes later, after this cop calls both of our parents, he comes over to the car, he opens the door, and he goes, well, I don't normally do this. And he points to Alex. He goes, I'm going to let you go with a warning. Because even though you're already on probation, and I could get you in a lot of trouble, and let me tell you, a shit ton of trouble for you doing this, I'm going to let you go. And Alex, like, his face lights up like a child on Christmas that's got a brand new toy. He's like, really? And the cop's like, yeah, really. And Alex goes to say thank you, and the cop interrupts him, and he's like, no, listen, that isn't to say that this is without consequence. I talked to your parents. You have to come to the station for this class that we host once a week for delinquent teenagers. It's a month long. On top of that, you have to get your grades up in school. And if they're not up by next term, you have to come back for another class that's a month long at the station. And if I even so much hear that you said a bad word to your parents or police officers or anybody, if you even step out of line once, it won't go as nearly as smoothly as it did this time. And Alex was like, deal. And then he points to me, the cop, and he goes, I talked to your mom. Like, I told her you didn't do anything wrong. She's coming to get you. And I was like, okay. And he gets me out of the car. He unhandcuffs me. Then he gets Alex out of the car. He unhandcuffs him. And we had to wait for our parents to pull up. My mom pulled up looking pissed as fuck. Alex's mom pulled up looking pissed as fuck. They lived pretty close together, so, you know, they got there at kind of the same time. And they talked for a little bit before they came up to us. And they both came up to us at the same time. And Alex's mom immediately, like, grabs him by the arm and, like, you know, pulls him over to her car and, like, gets him in the car in the passenger seat. And then she walks back over to the cops and talks to them for a little bit. And I heard her thanking them for being so, like, forgiving. And then my mom came over to me, and she was talking to me a little bit. She was actually being pretty cool to me. She wasn't happy that she had to, like, show up and talk to the cops and talk to me. Like, she definitely still looked pissed at me and didn't look happy to be there. But she wasn't, like, yelling at me or, like, telling me that I was in a bunch of trouble or something. But anyway, after that, I went to the car, and I waited for my mom while she talked to the cops and kind of just said the same thing that Alex's mom did and, you know, basically thanked them for being cool with us. And my mom came back to the car. She sat down. And the first thing she said was, like, you know that cop knew your uncle growing up? They grew up together. I used to see him all the time when we were kids. And I was like, yeah. And she goes, honestly, you were so lucky that that was the cop that busted your friend. Because I think he went easy on you guys because he grew up with your uncle. And essentially, she was kind of insinuating, like, because that cop grew up with my uncle, that, you know, the cop went easy on my friend. I don't know. I don't know if that's what happened. It probably had something to do with it. But either way, my friend didn't get in nearly as much trouble as he probably should have, right? Anyway, my mom drove me home, and she ended up dropping me off. She had somewhere to go. And she was like, look, you're not grounded. You're not in trouble because you didn't do anything. But seriously, from this point on, you got to pick better friends. You're going to get mixed up in some stuff you shouldn't be mixed up in if you keep hanging out with people like this. And I was like, I know. She's like, seriously, I don't think Alex is a terrible kid by any means, but also, like, he made a huge mistake today. And I was like, yeah, I know. And she goes, all right, well, enjoy your day. And she left to go hang out with her friend or do whatever she had to do. And I spent the rest of that day just on Xbox, playing COD with my friends, talking about the craziness, the madness of what my day was like. And my IRL friends, all of them were like, I'm so happy I didn't go out with y'all today. What the fuck? Like, we just dodged a bullet. And I was like, yeah, you kind of did. Could you imagine if that went down and, like, all my other IRL friends were there that I asked to hang out? That would have just been so much, like, even more insane. But yeah, in the end, everything I'd say went a lot better than it could have. Now, if you're wondering what happened to Alex, Alex, kind of like I said in the beginning of this video, he's much better today. And after this happened back in 2014, he actually did, like, not fuck up at all, and he wrote out the rest of his probation, and, like, you know, nothing else happened, and that got over and done with. And he went to those classes he had to do, and he got his grades up, and all in all, Alex fixed his shit. He stepped it up, and he did what he had to do. And, yeah, he's good. Like, today he's actually way better than he was when we were kids. Like, sometimes people just need to grow up. Like, it's just a matter of time and maturity, and Alex is very mature now, and I have not seen him have a single problem since, like, this day, pretty much. Like, there was a couple things he did here and there that kind of pissed his parents off after this. Like, there was one time where me and Alex were both grounded at the same time, and he ended up sneaking out and coming over to my house for, like, a couple hours and playing games and shit on the Xbox, and that kind of pissed them off. But, like, nothing insane, you know, nothing that was going to get him thrown in jail. So yeah, shout out to Alex for, you know, I guess turning his shit around. But yeah, also shout out to that cop for being good to Alex and not, you know, pressing the issue and probably getting him in a ton of trouble. And like, he probably would have had to like go to a juvenile detention center or something and like get his probation extended or something, right? Like, he probably would have gotten in so much more trouble if that cop didn't go easy on him. But yeah, that's the story. That is the story. Pretty crazy shit, pretty crazy stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, please leave a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below. And subscribe if you're new. I'll see you later. Peace.
Take his 401k and I'll put it on my wrist, Only wine, sell my flip. Still I know these bills are for my life. But yeah, I'll take a sip. Yeah, I still fall for those tricks. I got 7 days a year.
It's your time to move things forward. U.S. Army Reserve.
New Genius Mushroom Soft Chews. Indulgent butter toffee chews that taste good and do good with mushrooms organically grown in California. With no hidden proprietary blends, you can indulge your health with Genius Mushroom Chews at thegeniusbrand.com, where mind unlocks body.
Okay, so before I start this video / story, just want to say, I talk about some pretty real things in this, some pretty sad things. If you like the happier, just like, you know, fun stories, this one's probably not for you. But if you want a story time where I'm really talking about some pretty serious stuff and some crazy stuff, then you'll probably love this one. Obviously, before it starts, you know, listen to this, enjoy it, learn from my mistakes. Please don't go out and repeat anything you hear in my story times just because you think they sound fun. Because I promise you, that shit ain't fun. Listen to my, you know, stories, get entertainment from them, but don't go out trying to pursue them, please. Anyway, guys, enjoy the story. I love y'all. All right, so for everyone that keeps asking and commenting, being like, dude, I want a long video. We missed the longer videos. Austin, stop with these 10-minute videos, these 15-minute videos. We want 40. We want an hour. We want 30 million hour videos. Well, today I have a long one, okay? You know, most of my stories and videos on this channel are pretty long, and I just break them up, you know, because a lot of my story times kind of have, like, multiple stories in them, you know? Like, there's been times where, like, a few things happen in a day, and I can make it one long story, right, about the whole day, but I figure, you know what, I'll just break it into multiple videos and have different story times, because that's probably what people want to see, right? But I've learned over the last, like, few months that you guys seem to like the long ones. The long ones I can do. It's less editing for me. I mean, the super long ones, like the one I'm telling today, it would take longer to do these, but if you guys really like them and you actually want to watch a super long video every day, I'll do it. But I guess we'll have to see how this goes first. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoy the story time. If you do, leave a like on the video if you do, and let's jump into it. So, today's story time all takes place back when I was a freshman in high school. Pretty young Luna story, right? Now, I haven't talked about it too much on this channel. I've mentioned it a few times, but back when I was like, I don't know, I'd say 14 to like 17 era of my age, I would run away a lot. That's not like a flex or something. I'm not trying to act like I'm cool. It just happened a lot. Anytime I got into a disagreement with my mom or my stepdad at the time, or like my family that lived in my house, a lot of the time I would just like say, screw it, and just run away. I just leave and go like sleep at a friend's house or go like to the mall or something and just essentially hide, right? I didn't really like confronting my issues head on. I still don't. I can't lie. I don't like confrontation. I don't like, you know, disagreements. It's not fun for me. That's honestly why you've probably never seen me in a lot of YouTube drama. You know, like in 2016, 2017, when I was coming up super hard and everyone I knew was in a bunch of drama, I would try my best to not get involved because I fucking hated confrontation. So yeah, that's kind of how I was my whole life. Still am. But especially, you know, 14 to 17 years old, I was really, really just not in the mood for it. And anytime I got into an argument, I'd run away. Now, one of the main reasons I would run away as well is at the time, my mom was dating this dude. And we'll just call him Joe, okay? We'll give him a name. We'll call him Joe. Now, Joe was an asshole, an utter just dickhead. No one liked him, nobody except my mom, and eventually she didn't either. That's why he's not around anymore. That's why she broke up with him. But he was a dick. The worst stepdad imaginable, one of the worst people I've ever met in my entire life. He was just a dick. And I'm not talking like, oh, he was just like strict or he was just mean to me. No, like this guy was actually a bad person. Like abusive, like just bad dude all around. There was times where I'd get in arguments with him, or his kids would get in arguments with him and he would hit me or hit them. Literally, yeah, he'd raise his hands to children. Bad person, right? I'm not trying to get too real here or talk about something that's too sensitive, but like very bad individual. And I remember I used to go tell my mom about these things, and he would just lie and be like, your son's a liar. Like, I didn't do that. And she'd believe him because he was an incredible liar, and, like, he was just really good at telling lies. Like, just not a good person at all. And it sucked. I did not like having to share a house with him sometimes. He didn't live at my house, but he was over there so often that it was basically like he was living there, and he'd sleep over sometimes, and it just sucked. And there was a lot of nights where he'd sleep over, and he would just, like, start an argument with me because he was bossing me around like my dad when he's not my fucking dad. And I would tell him that because I wasn't going to let this dude overstep boundaries. And I'd be like, hey, man, you're not my dad. If you want to give my dad a call, here's his number. Then he can come be the father figure because you're not one. And he'd get super pissed and start screaming at me. And, you know, I'd just run away, right? I'd leave and I'd go stay at my friend's. Now, listen, before I continue, if you ever find yourself in a situation like that where someone is abusive or just being a terrible person to you in general and you do not feel good, call somebody about it, man. Call a close family member that you trust. Call the police if you have to. Like, just call somebody that can help you. And don't do what I did, which was run away constantly and not know where you're going to sleep that night and be in harm's way. Because that's exactly what I would do. I'd, like, be in a situation that was bad, and then I'd put myself in a situation that was even worse because I was, you know, now essentially homeless for the night. And I'd either have to find a friend to stay with, and if I couldn't find a friend to stay with, I'd be on the street for the night or walking around aimlessly with like no phone because it'd be dead or something, and no car, and it wasn't good, right? So obviously if you ever find yourself in a bad situation like I was in, call somebody for help. Don't do what I was doing. But anyway, let's continue on with the story now. Sorry for getting so dark and depressing there. It's a very serious topic, and I never want anyone that watches my videos that is going through that same thing to feel helpless and hopeless, you know? But anyway, so yeah, my mom was dating this absolute dickhead, right? And this was like any other night back then. Like I said, I was a freshman at this time. It was a weekend, so I guess it doesn't really matter that I was in 9th grade. I just kind of wanted to give you a sense of how old I was. But I was a freshman, and I remember I was in my room on Saturday night, right? And my mom went out with her boyfriend, and my brother was out with his friends. My other brother was also out with his friends. I had the house to myself, right? And I was stoked because when I had the house to myself, I liked it. It was peaceful. Didn't have to worry about any drama. Didn't have to worry about anything, right? So I made some pizza rolls. I sat down at my computer. I was on there for a little bit. Then after that, I jumped on Xbox. I played some COD with some friends of mine at a party. And life was good, man. Life was good. I was in my happy place. I'm always in my happy place when I have some stupid, unhealthy food and I have my video games and my friends. Like, that is my happy place, and that's where I was. And I remember, like, just chilling there playing some Xbox for a couple of hours when all of a sudden I hear the door open and I hear my mom laughing and I hear her boyfriend talking, and I didn't think much of it, you know. I was like, okay, they're home, whatever, right? And then I started hearing footsteps coming down the hallway to my door. And I already knew who it was because they were heavy-sounding footsteps, and it wasn't my mom's footsteps. I knew when my mom was coming because her footsteps were, like, super quiet, and she wore, like, jewelry and stuff. You could hear it. This sounded like, you know, some guy was coming down the hallway, and I was like, okay, it's her boyfriend, right? And he doesn't knock or anything, just swings my door open, and he's like, hey, what's up? And I was like, what's up, man? And he, like, kind of, like, looks around my room with his eyes, and he's like, wow, it's a fucking pigsty in here. Keep in mind, guys, my room was not that dirty. I've had a messy room, okay? I know what it looks like when it's messy. This shit was not messy. I had, like, maybe a hoodie on the floor, and, like, my bed wasn't made, but my bed was never made. And the only thing that was, like, kind of messy was I had that plate with the pizza rolls that were eaten on my desk still, and my drink. That was it. I just had some dirty dishes that was gonna be taken to the sink and cleaned before I went to bed, right? And I remember saying, like, what are you talking about? My room looks fine. He's like, if this is fine to you, then I don't want to know what messy is. And I was like, all I have is like some clothes on the floor and my plate right here, but I'm taking that to the kitchen soon. Like, that's it. And he goes, first of all, if this was my house, you wouldn't be able to eat your fucking food in your room. You'd sit at the dinner table like a regular kid. And I was like, well, guess what? Nobody was home, so I ate in my room. If people were home and they wanted to have dinner with me, I would. But, like, I was eating in my room because that's what I do when I'm home alone. My mom's fine with that. And he goes, yeah, well, you're very lucky she is, because if I lived here and this was my house and you were my kids, yeah, that wouldn't be okay at all. And I was just not in the mood, man. I was just not in the fucking mood. I was like, yeah, I guess it's good that she's my mom and you're not, right? Which, like, was it a very attitude, kind of snarky thing to say to him? 120% yes. But also, he was coming into my room just unprovoked, just trying to start problems. And that's what he got, so whatever, right? And after I said this, he did not like that at all. He got real butthurt. He got real angry and just real egotistical. And he walks over to my fucking stuff, like my Xbox, my monitor, and all that shit. He starts unplugging it and picking it up. And I was like, what the fuck do you think you're doing? And he's like, watch your fucking mouth when you talk to me. And I was like, nah, fuck this. So I stand up. I walked out of there. I walked into the kitchen. And I was like, Mom, your boyfriend's in my room taking my Xbox and my TV and my stuff that you paid for, not him. So can you tell him to put it the fuck down, please? And she was like, all right, watch your language, first of all. And I was like, no. Like, this dude came in my room, starting problems, telling me my room was messy, and just, like, being super rude for no reason. And then got mad when I said it's a good thing that you're my mom and he isn't, because he was salty that I was eating my food in my room, which you allow me to do. And she, like, walks down the hallway to where he is, and he's, like, bringing my stuff into her room or whatever to, like, try and hide it from me or something. And she goes, what are you doing, Joe? Why do you got my son's things? Like, what happened? And he's like, your son was mouthing off to me. I don't think I was mouthing off to him at all. I think I said one thing that was a little bit rude, but also he said some shit that was rude. But whatever, right? Whatever. And she goes, what happened? And this fucking dick proceeds to tell the biggest lie I've ever heard in my life. He goes, I walked in there and I said, hey man, how you doing? You know, being nice, trying to, like, be involved in his life. And he rolled his eyes at me and said, I'm trying to play my games. And I was like, that's not even fucking true. What are you talking about? And he goes, see? Look at him. He's mouthing off to me. And my mom gets mad at me because I raised my voice and swore at him. And she's like, go to your room. And I was like, no, like, you need to understand, he is lying to you right now. He is lying like he does to you. And she fell for it because that's what he would do. He just was good at lying. I don't know. So I end up going to my room, right? And like 15 minutes later, my mom comes in. She sits down and she's like, look, I understand that you don't like him. You guys don't like each other, whatever. But the language you're using towards him and towards me is not okay. And I was like, you're right. I shouldn't be swearing at you. It's just super frustrating when he comes in here and quite literally does one thing and then goes to you and says another. He is actually lying. Like, lying. He made that whole thing up. He didn't ask me how I was doing. He came in, said sup, and then proceeded to just try and, like, ego/power trip me. It was just stupid. And she goes, either way, the language you're using, not cool, okay? So I'm keeping your games and stuff for a night. And I was like, whatever. And then right after she says this, right, and I was like, whatever, I look up, and out of the corner of my eye, in the doorway of my room, this man, Joe, her boyfriend, is standing in the doorway, literally like a fucking toddler, smiling, with his thumbs in his ears, moving his hands back and forth, sticking his tongue out, essentially doing that face of like, haha, I got you, I win, you lose, like gloating that I'm getting in trouble, right? And I point at him, I was like, look. And my mom turns around, and he just, like, makes a really straight face and, like, snaps out of it. And she goes, what am I looking at? And I was like, he was literally just, like, bragging about me getting grounded. Like, he was making a face at me, sticking his tongue out like a fucking baby. And she goes, that's it. A week. No Xbox, no TV. And I was so furious at this point and so mad the way things were going and the way this guy was able to lie and, like, play my mom that I just, like, snapped. I remember I stood up, I walked over to my desk, and I grabbed this, like, it was like a cup that had, like, pencils and pens and, like, stuff in it that I needed, and I just whipped it at the wall, and, like, the thing exploded at the wall and just, like, went everywhere and made a mess, and my mom's like, yep, real mature, Austin, and this guy, this asshole boyfriend of hers, Joe, goes, yeah, dude, really, really mature, you showed me. And I looked at him and I was like, say one more thing and I'm whipping some shit at your fucking head. And I meant that. I was furious. Was it mature of me? No. Should you guys threaten somebody? No. Don't threaten somebody. Did I end up throwing something at him? No, I didn't. I was just really pissed. And after I said that, he goes, I'd like to see you try. Please do. Watch what happens. And I walked up to him, like, face to face. And I was like, yeah, you threatening me? He's like, it's not a threat, buddy. It's a promise. Throw some shit at me, you're going to find out. And I got even closer to his face, and I pointed right to my eye. And I was like, please punch me. And he's like, what? I was like, punch me, please. Hit me right in the face, right in front of my mom, so she can finally see how fucked you are and how shitty you are. Because you're too pussy to do anything in front of her. You'll do it behind her back all day. You'll do anything behind her back. But the minute she's standing here and she's looking, you won't do anything. And you want to appear like the golden boy because you know if you fuck up, you're going to jail or you're getting kicked out of here, or both. And me and you both know you don't want to go back to sleeping in that shitty-ass apartment you live in, so fucking stop. And he was just dumbfounded. He didn't have shit to say back. And I remember my mom stood up and she's like, that's enough, Austin, that's enough. And I was like, yeah, it is enough. I'll see you guys later. And I grabbed my backpack and I started walking down the hallway. And he tries to grab my bag, to which I smacked his hand away. And I was like, don't fucking touch me. And I grabbed the door, swung it open, and I walked out. Now, in my backpack, I had near nothing on me. I didn't really have time to grab essential stuff. So in there, I had like a hoodie that I brought to school with me, some school stuff, it was my school bag, a pair of like track pants for gym that I hadn't worn yet. So I had like some clothes on me, but it was not enough to last me very long. And yeah, I didn't have a lot of stuff, right? Oh, I also forgot to grab my phone charger, which sucked. So yeah, I remember walking down my neighborhood road, just like filled with rage. I was so mad because like I was having such a good night. And this motherfucker had to come home and ruin it, like, so fast. And, you know, looking back, the way I talked to him and the way I said shit, obviously, if you guys ever find yourself in a situation like that, don't do what I did, please. Because, like, that could have gone so bad. Like, he could have hit me, and even though in the moment I wanted that to happen, to try and, like, get him caught, that's not how you do things. You know what I mean? Like I said, if you ever find yourself in a situation like that, get out of the situation as fast as you can and call somebody, right? Anyway. Yeah, I'm walking down my neighborhood road. I'm upset. I'm pissed off. I'm angry, right? And I walked about a mile and a half, just like aimlessly, just mad. I had no destination. I had like half of my phone battery. I was trying to save that. I didn't want to waste it yet. And I remember I walked all the way to this playground that was like a mile and a half away. And I sat down on one of the slides. And at this point, the sun's down, right? Like it's nighttime. It's creepy. There's no one there but me. And I'm like in this park by myself, sitting on this slide with nothing but my thoughts. And I remember putting my head down in my knees and just crying, just like upset with my current life. I hated the fact that I couldn't be at home. I hated the fact that this like absolute horrible human being was invading my house, essentially, like taking it over and like brainwashing my mom and disrespecting me, and not only me but my brothers too. Like there's probably a million stories I could tell about that. And it just sucked. It felt like my home wasn't my home anymore, and it felt like more miserable to be there than to be sitting on a slide in the middle of the night alone. So yeah, it was pretty sad, dude. It was pretty sad. I felt like shit, and I'm not someone that cries easily. I can't remember the last time I cried, like genuinely. Even if I'm really going through it, I don't cry easily. So, like, I was in a very bad mood on this night. I remember I was, like, very upset. Like I said, it wasn't like I was like, oh, I'm so sad, that guy was so mean to me. It was like I just hated the fact that my life was the way it was. It was not good. I think that's partially why I fell in love with YouTube so much, is because it was just such a good, like, outlet to distract myself from how shitty things were. Anyway, enough of the depressing stuff, okay? So, after I sit there and cry for, like, fucking 5 minutes, I like lifted my head up and I was just back to being angry again. And I was like, all right, like, I need to fucking do something. I can't sit here all night on this, you know, slide and be like sad. I have to do something. I have to find somewhere to sleep. So let me call people. So I pull up my phone and I called my friend Jake. He didn't answer. And then I remembered, oh shit, my mom can track my calls. She's going to know where I'm going if I do that. Now, luckily, I had some money on me in my backpack. I had like quarters and stuff for lunch. So I took some quarters and I went to one of the payphones nearby by the mall. Yeah, that was back when payphones still existed. Unk shit. I went up to a payphone and I put the quarters in. And I called my friend Justin and I was like, yo, really weird like question here. I'm calling you from a payphone, so you know this shit's serious because I don't want to get tracked. I ran away. Can I please like come to your house and stay there tonight? He's like, dude, what the fuck happened? Like, is it Joe again? Because he knew my mom's boyfriend was a dick because he'd met him. And I was like, yeah, it is. And he's like, dude, of course, come over. And I was like, all right, cool. Is your mom all right with it? He's like, bro, I'm just not going to tell her. Because if I tell her, she's going to tell your mom. And, like, then she's just going to come get you. Like, just come over. I'll sneak you through the basement window. You just chill in the basement all night. Like, she doesn't go down there ever. Like, you'll be okay down there. I was like, bro, thank you so much. He's like, of course, dude. So I hang up with him, and I proceed to start walking towards his house. And he lived far away, dude. He lived like 3 miles, 4 miles away, which doesn't sound that far when you're driving. But walking 3 to 4 miles in the middle of the night as a kid, it's kind of scary, right? Especially with like no GPS, because the phone that I had at the time did not have unlimited data, so I couldn't like look it up. So I had to go off memory. And luckily my memory didn't fail me. I'd been to his house so many times that I knew where to go. So I did it. I walked there. It was a very long walk, very sketchy walk, but nothing really happened on the walk, so I'm going to skip over that. But I get to his house, and I couldn't call him or text him to tell him I was there, because I was worried that she'd, like, track my calls or my messages. So I, like, went up to the basement window, and I saw him down there, and he was playing skate. And I tapped on the window, and he turned around and saw me. And he walked over, he opened it, helped me get down through the window, and he's so cool, man. He had the whole basement set up for me, bro. He had, like, the couch nice and made. He had, like a whole bed made up, and he had like skate on the Xbox because he knew I like skate, and he like had it ready for me, bro, to stay there the night. And I was like, bro, thank you so much, like I love you. And he was like, dude, of course, like you're my fucking brother, I got you. And Justin's still one of my best friends to this day, so like shout out to him, like actually one of my fucking brothers, dude. But anyway, I sat down on the couch, and I just felt like so many mixed emotions. And I remember I sat down there for like, I don't know, an hour or so, just like playing games with him, hanging out. And after a while, he was like, all right, man, I gotta go upstairs. I gotta go to bed, because if I don't, my mom will come down here and yell at me, and she'll see you. And yeah, we can't do that. I was like, all right, dude. And he daps me up. And he's like, bro, like, hang tight. Like, you'll get through this shit, bro. You ever need anything, you know you got me. I was like, thank you, dude. He turns around and he goes upstairs. And I sat down on the couch, and I turned my phone off to save battery because I didn't have a charger. And I went to sleep. And the next morning I wake up at like 10 a.m. or something, and Justin's like standing over me. He's like, all right, bro, I gotta go. I'm going to like this school thing. He had this like after school program he went to on the weekends. I think it was like an extra help thing or like a tutoring thing he had to go to like at our school. So he had to go do that. And he's like, all right, bro, like you can hang here as long as you want. Let me know if you need anything. And I was like, all right, man, do you happen to have a phone charger? And he's like, yeah, let me go see. He ran upstairs, and he came back down like 10 minutes later with a bunch of random cords. And he's like, I don't know which one will fit your phone. Just try them all. And luckily, one of them worked. So after that, I sat down just on my phone, listening to music, chilling. And while I was doing that, I get a text from my mom. And the text says, are you coming home today? And I responded, and I was like, probably not. And she goes, you have to come home. I said, is your boyfriend there? And she goes, yes. And I said, then I'm not coming home. And she was like, come on, we have to talk. And I was like, okay, call me then. And she called me, and I answered. I was like, hello? And she goes, so you're just going to run away forever? You're not going to come home ever? And I was like, no, I just don't want to come home yet. And she was like, well, you're going to have to. Like, you're a minor. You can't just be out in the world, you know, doing whatever you're doing. You got to come home. And I was like, I don't want to live under a roof where that guy is, too. Like, your boyfriend is actually evil. Like, he'll do one thing and then just lie to you and say another. And she's like, okay, then you need to come home. We need to talk about it. We'll all sit down together and we'll talk about it. And I was like, no, because every time we try that, he lies and you believe it. And she was like, well, you lie, too. I've caught you lying to me a million times, so who's to say you're not lying? And she had a point. She had a great point. Because there was tons of times where I would lie and be like, oh, yeah, I'm at this person's house, and I'll be somewhere else. But I would never lie to her when it came to what happened in our house. You know what I mean? Like, if there was something serious happening, like a situation unfolding, like me and my brothers were arguing or something, or me and my brothers were fighting, I would tell the truth. I would never lie and say that, like, they did one thing when they didn't do it. You know what I mean? I would lie about, like, my whereabouts sometimes, because I was a shithead teenager, but I would never lie about, you know, what happened in a situation when it came to, like, a family altercation, right? But I understood why she was making that point, you know? But I essentially just told her, like, look, I'm not going to sit down and talk with him and you, because he's just going to lie, and no matter what I say, you won't believe me, and you'll believe him, because that's just how it's been always, so I'm not going to waste my breath. She's like, okay, well, you need to come home regardless. And I was like, I'm not coming home. And she goes, all right, then I'm going to call the police. And usually that would scare me, and I'd be like, all right, fine, I'll come home. But for some reason, I just was so fed up with it. I was like, you know what? Call him. And I hung up on her. And at that point, things got a little more serious. Things got a little more scary. I was definitely a little bit more freaked out about having my phone on me. So I did some like Walter White shit. I took the battery out and then like threw it in my friend's backyard. And I was like, all right, I gotta go. Like, this is my last ping location. The cops are gonna know I'm here. I'm out. And I packed my shit up. I wrote a little thank you note. I left it on the table. And I climbed out the window and left my friend's house and just started aimlessly walking around the neighborhood, right? I walked about a mile out of his neighborhood and down this main road, and I went to this grocery store, and I had a little bit of money on me still, so I ordered some food. They had like chicken tenders there, and I sat down and I ate them. And while I was eating them, I was just super paranoid. I kept looking around. I remember at one point a cop walked in. I thought he was there for me, and I was like staring at him. And he like kept looking at me because I kept staring at him, and I could tell he was like probably really confused. But he didn't come up to me or anything. But anyway, after that, I ate the chicken tenders. Yeah, I got done. I stood up. I left the grocery store, and I started walking around trying to figure out how to like find somewhere to stay this night because I didn't know where I was going to stay, and I was scared. So I ended up walking all the way back towards my neighborhood, which probably wasn't very smart because I was near, my house, and the cops were probably around there. But I went all the way back towards my neighborhood, and there was a mall nearby that I used to go to, and I went to that mall, and I sat down in the food court, and I remember like just sitting there with my head down again, just sad. I wasn't crying or anything, but I was just depressed. And while I had my head down for about 30 minutes, I get a tap on my shoulder. And I was so scared because I was like, all right, I'm going to lift my head up right now, and it's going to be the fucking police. I lifted my head up, and it's my brother, dude. It's my fucking brother. He's like, dude, what are you doing? And I was like, hanging out. He goes, dude, mom called the fucking cops. Like, they were just at the house. Like, they're looking for you right now. Why are you here? And I was like, I don't know. He's like, bro, you got to go home. I was like, I'm not going home. He's like, well, you got to go somewhere where you're safe because I'm not going to leave you here. And I was like, all right, man, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I'm not going home. And he's like, well, then is there somewhere I can bring you? You got a friend or something you can stay with for a little bit? And I was like, I don't have a phone. I can't call anyone. He's like, all right, use mine. And he hands me his phone. And I started calling up all my friends that I like remembered the numbers of. And it was not that many. I only have like 3 or 4 people that I have like their numbers memorized because, most people just store their numbers in their contacts. But these friends that I was calling, I was friends with for years. So I remember them before I had a cell phone and stuff. So I called my one friend who was essentially my neighbor. He lived like 4 houses down and he didn't answer. And I called this other friend and he answered, but he said I couldn't come over. And then I called this last friend. His name was TJ. I wasn't very close with him anymore. I used to be really close with him like a year prior, but I hadn't hung out with him in a good like 6 months. And he answered, and I was like, yo, dude, like super big long shot here. But I ran away from home, and the cops are looking for me, and I don't want to go home and get in trouble. Can I stay at your house for like a few days? And he's like, what happened? What'd you do? And I was like, nothing, bro. I just ran away because my mom's boyfriend's a dick, and they called the cops. And he's like, all right, let me figure it out, man. Hold on. He puts the phone down for a second, and then he comes back like a minute later, and he's like, all right, I thought about it. You can come over. And I was like, actually? He's like, yeah, but if cops show up, bro, like, I'm not going to lie for you. So, like, if they show up, you're going to be caught. I'm not going to, like, lie and say you're not there. And I was like, all right, man, like, fair enough, whatever. And I was like, you going to tell your mom that I'm there? He's like, my mom's actually not home right now. She's not going to be home till tomorrow, so you're good for the night at least. And I was like, all right, bet. So I knew that I had at least one night at TJ's house. After that, maybe he'd tell his mom or something and I'd be able to stay longer. I don't know. But I knew for sure that I had one night guaranteed. So I told my brother to drop me off there. I gave him the address, and he got in the car with me, and he took me over there. And I pulled up in the driveway. I remember I was getting out, and he's like, yo, dude, if you need anything, call me. Like, you have my number. You know it, right? I was like, yeah. He's like, call me. Do you have your phone? I was like, no, I got rid of it. I didn't want to get tracked. He's like, fuck, dude. All right. Like, call me off his phone so I have his number, like, right now, please. I was like, all right. I was like, thank you, dude. He's like, of course. I get it, bro. I fucking get it. I was there, too, at one point. Like, that guy's a fucking dick. And very soon, you'll be old enough to, like, be an adult and, like, have your own car and go wherever you want and do whatever you want. Like, life won't be like this forever, is what he was saying, basically, which I appreciated. And my brother was, like, on my side with this because he also beefed with this dude all the time. My brother fucking hated him just as much as me. Anyway, I went inside. I asked TJ if I could call my brother off his phone so he could have his number, and I did. And after that, me and TJ just started hanging out, right? And we were just catching up. I hadn't seen him in a while, and we, like, just kind of started to talk and catch up, and I kind of forgot how cool he was, man. Like, I felt bad that we kind of, like, lost touch. We weren't really hanging out as much, and I even said that to him. I was like, bro, my bad. Like, sorry I haven't been around much. Like, I feel like a dick. He's like, you're good, dude. And TJ actually hooked it up super fat. He gave me some clothes to change into, shower and stuff, obviously. And I actually got to go on his computer and make a video, which was nice, because at the time I was making videos, just very sporadically. I think it was either like in the very beginning of the Luna channel, or it was right before the Luna channel. I can't remember the timeline, but all I know is that I was making videos still. Anyway, after I shower and got changed and stuff, me and TJ were just hanging out in his living room, hanging out, and, you know, I thought I was good for the night. I thought nothing could go wrong. I thought I was safe for the night. No cops would show up. No people would show up. I'd be fine, right? Well, we all know how this goes. So, we're in his living room watching a movie. I remember we were watching this scary movie. And at this point, the sun was setting, right? It was like almost nighttime. And I saw TJ like stand up to grab some water or something. And he like looked out his living room window. And I saw his face like change. It went from looking like fine to just like scared. And then I poked my head up and looked through the window. And I saw 2 police officers from my town coming up his driveway. And he goes, "Oh, man." And I was like, fuck. And I jumped up, grabbed my bag, and just darted as fast as I could to the sliding glass door, the back door. Opened it, ran out, ran to his fence, jumped the fence, and just ran. Full speed, no looking back, just run. I ran for probably a good mile without turning around, dude. Because I didn't know if they were chasing me. I didn't know if they were, like, on foot behind me or, like, in their car somewhere, like, behind me. I didn't want to even look back. I just ran. After a mile, I finally stopped, and I turned around. And nobody was behind me, no cops, and I remember being like, fuck, dude, how'd they find me? And I just started walking slowly down that street until I stumbled upon this, like, convenience store, and I walked in there. I walked up to, like, the clerk, and I was like, hey, can I use your phone? And he's like, sure. And he gave me the phone, and I dialed my brother, and I was like, yo, it's Austin. He goes, what's up, man? Are you okay? And I was like, yeah, dude, like, did you tell mom or something about where I was? Like, cops just showed up. And he goes, what? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, all right, dude, I'm not gonna lie. I told her, but I told her to, like, call the cops off. I told her that you were in a safe place, that I knew where you were, that I had the number, and, like, to not have the cops get involved. But I guess she didn't, and she must have called them over there. And I was like, fuck, dude. And he's like, I'm sorry, bro. And I was like, you're good. Like, you were just doing the right thing. I get it. And I was frustrated, but it wasn't his fault. He was trying to be a good brother, man. He was trying to, like, be good on both ends of the spectrum. He was trying to, like, you know, be good to me and keep me out of the house, away from that dickhead. But he also wanted my mom to know that I was somewhere safe. You know, her youngest son was somewhere safe and not, like, under a bridge or something, like, sleeping outside. So, you know, I understood. But unfortunately, yeah, the cops showed up to my friend's house and I ran away. And now I was, like, really on the run, bro. It was not fun. So I ended up telling him, like, yo, dude, like, I don't know what to do now. I don't know who else to call. Like, I don't know what to do. And he's like, all right, man, like, do you just want to come home and, like, just deal with it? And I was like, fuck no. He's like, all right, there's no one else you can call, bro? Like, nobody? And I was like, bro, there's people I can call, but I don't know their numbers. Like, I don't know how to contact them. He said, well, what are their names, bro? I'll look them up, and, like, I'll message them on, like, Facebook or something. And I was like, all right, good idea. And I gave him, like, 4 names of friends of mine that, like, I knew well and that might be able to help me. And unfortunately, none of them responded to him, at least not right away. And this store clerk was starting to get butthurt that I was, like, hogging his phone. And he told me, like, hey, man, you gotta get off my phone soon. I need it for calls. And I was like, all right. And I told my brother, I was like, yo, dude, I gotta go. If they message you back, call this number. I'll hang out in the store for a little bit. And the store clerk was fine with that. He said that was okay. So after that, I, like, hung up. And I hung around the store for, like, 30, 40 minutes. And finally, the phone starts ringing. And the clerk's like, it's for you. And he hands it to me. And I was like, hello? He's like, yeah, dude, one of them messaged back. Unfortunately, not with good news. He said that you couldn't stay over. So I think you're kind of out of options, man. Like, you should just come home. Like, I feel for you, bro, but, like, it's going to be hard to find somewhere to stay on a school night. And I was like, bro, I can't. I'm not coming home. Especially, like, dude, if he's there, I'm not going to do it. I don't want to see her asshole boyfriend. He's like, yeah, dude, I get it. But, like, bro, where are you going to stay tonight? And I was like, I don't know. He's like, all right, just stay there. I'm coming to get you. We'll figure it out. I was like, okay. So my brother pulled up, like, 10 minutes later, and I got in the car, and we're driving around aimlessly, and, like, I'm just, you know, in a shitty mood, obviously. And we end up driving around for quite a while with no, like, real destination. And after a while, he ends up doing something that I did not expect him to do, and was pretty crazy, because it probably could have gotten him in trouble, because he was directly, like, interfering with the police trying to find me. He called up one of his friends and was like, look, dude, my little brother's on the run. The cops are looking for him because he ran away. Can you guys, like, let him crash? And my brother's friends were all older. So, like, you know, 18 to 25, like, age. So that's, like, what his age was. And one of them was like, yeah, dude, bring him over. Bring him to the crib. Like, come on. So I went to his friend's house, which was essentially a frat house. It was like 5 dudes, all college age, in this like big house that was just trashed. Like beer cans everywhere. House was a fucking mess. Like just not, a beautiful place at all. But I remember I walked in and I was like, this fucking place is sick, dude. This is going to be awesome. Because the idea of like staying in a house with a bunch of fucking people that were older and like, having fun all the time, it sounded fun to me, right? To be around that. Obviously, it's not a good environment for a young teenager, obviously. But I wasn't planning on like drinking with them or getting messed up. And my brother literally told me and his friends, he was like, look, if I hear that you even so much as sneak a sip of a drink or try and like hit some weed or something, I'm coming back, I'm picking you up, and I'm bringing you to the cops. So stay here, behave yourself. And he looked at his friends. He's like, guys, look after him like he was your own. If he gets hungry, feed him. I'll pay for it. Make him go to bed at a normal time. And they're like, yeah, man, we got you. And he leaves. And now I'm just at this like frat house with my brother's friends, hiding from the police, just like straight up chilling, right? And for the next few days, I was good. Like, they were feeding me, making some good-ass food. They were partying, like, every night, which was obviously going to happen. And they were letting me, like, hang out and stuff, like, while they were partying. I just obviously was not drinking or anything like that or smoking because, yeah, can't do that. But they also completely ignored my brother's rule by making me go to bed early. I was literally staying up to, like, 4 in the morning with them every day. Just, like, playing video games and shit. And, I'm not gonna lie, man, it was a lot of fun. They were really cool people. Like, his friends, I'd met them before, obviously, because they'd been at the house and stuff, but, like, staying with them went a lot better than expected. And they're actually, like, surprisingly good at being, like, I don't want to say guardians, but they were good at looking after me. Like, if I needed something, they would make sure I had it, and, like, they were, like, surprisingly really, really, like, attentive. But anyway, it was cool, and for a few days, I didn't have anything happen. There was no police, there was no, crazy stuff going on, and things were good. Now, on the 4th day, this is really where some shit goes crazy. So, my brother was coming, like, every other day or so, like, checking on me periodically. And on the 4th day, my brother pulled up. He came in. He said hi to his friends, said hi to me, asked how I was doing. I said, good. He then said, are you going to come home soon? You probably need to. You can't stay here forever. And I was like, yeah, man, probably in, like, a day or two. He's like, all right, man, you can have another day or two, but at that point, you got to come home, man. Like, mom's worried about you. I told her that I know where you're at, but I didn't tell her where. But she's pissed at me now, and the cops are asking me shit. And I was like, all right, man, like, I'll go home in, like, a day or two. He's like, all right, man. So after he left, like, an hour later, his friends wanted to go to this, like, liquor store up the street to grab, like, drinks. And I wanted to go with them. I was like, can I come with you guys? And they were like, yeah, but you can't come in. It's a liquor store, so, like, you have to wait outside. So I was like, all right, that's fine. So I walked with them to the liquor store, right? And one of them waited outside with me while the rest of them went in. And me and this dude are just on the bench outside talking. He's asked me a little bit about my situation. He's like, man, so, like, what's going on at home? Like, what's happening? Like, I already heard your brother's perspective, and, like, he told me a little bit about what happened, but, like, I want to hear it from your perspective. And I was like, dude, he's just a dick. My mom's dating this dickhead, and he's a liar. Like, he'll do one thing and say another, and, like, he'll manipulate my mom, and, like, I get in trouble for it. He's like, oh, man, I know that shit all too well, bro. I had this stepdad growing up, and, like, that motherfucker was evil, bro. Like, same shit you're describing. Like, evil. He used to trash the house and tell my mom that I did it, and I'd get in trouble for it. I was like, fuck, really? He's like, yeah, man. Like, just evil shit for no reason. I was like, shit, dude, I'm sorry. He's like, it's good, bro. Like, eventually you'll grow up, and you'll move out on your own, and you'll either live with your friends or alone or with your girlfriend, and life will be good, dude. Like, I promise, it gets better. It gets better. And at the time, that felt like so, like, not true. It felt like I was gonna be in that situation forever, but then I actually got old enough to understand it, and I look back on it now, and I'm like, hey, man, he gave me some really good advice. Anyway, we're sitting outside the liquor store, right? We're just talking, when all of a sudden, a police car drives by. We both look at each other, because we're like, oh, shit, is he gonna stop and, like, come up to me? And the cop car starts slowing down, and now I'm really shitting myself. And I see the cop, like, look at me through his passenger side window. He looks at me, and I'm like, oh, shit, here we go. And just as I'm about to, like, think he's gonna, like, pull in the parking lot and come up to me, he just turns his head back to the road, and he keeps driving. Drives out of my sight. I was like, oh, shit, like, all right, he's gone. And I go back to talking to this dude, and we're both like, damn, that was a close one. That was crazy. And, like, 2 minutes later, all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, this cop car, the same cop, pulls up in front of the liquor store. So what he did is he drove down that street, took a right, and he looped around to the back entrance and then pulled in from behind so we couldn't see him. Because he knew if he pulled in from the front, I would just run. So he pulled around back entrance and then pulled up right in front of the bench. And he jumps out of the car. And he's like, hey, you, Austin, come here. He knew my fucking name and everything, bro. It was over. And I remember the dude looked at me, the dude on the bench, my brother's friend, and I looked at him, and I looked at the cop, and the cop goes, come here, Austin, like, it's over, come here. And he saw that I was about to run, and he starts running towards me first to, like, try and stop me, and I just took off running, full speed, just hauling ass again, just like I did out that sliding glass door at my friend's house. I just ran full speed, did not turn around, did not look back. I just ran. And I was looking straight forward, running. I could hear him screaming behind me, being like, Austin, stop running, stop it. And I'm just running, full speed, fucking not stopping. And I ended up jumping over a fence in the liquor store, like back parking lot area, into someone's yard. And then I ran around their house, jumped over the fence on the side, and then ran through another person's yard, jumped that fence. And I just ran and jumped fences as fast as I fucking could, just hearing this cop's voice as he yelled get farther and farther away. And like that was how I knew I was like, you know, getting away. I was just listening to the sound of his voice. I was not turning around because I knew if I turned around and I looked, I would just freak out and start getting self-conscious and probably slowing down or like, you know, like not thinking about running, and then I'd just get caught. So I just kept running and using like the sound of his voice as like my indicator as how close he was. And I kept running, and finally got to a point where I couldn't hear him anymore. And I turned around, and I was, like, out of breath and gasping for air, and he just wasn't there. I was like, all right, like, I must have outran him. And finally, after, like, catching my breath after a while, like, chilling, just sitting on the ground on the sidewalk, I was like, all right, well, I'm going to try walking back to the frat house, right? Because, like, that's where my backpack was, that's where my stuff was. And even though the cops saw me at that liquor store with that dude, they didn't know where I was staying. Like, they just knew I was at that liquor store with those people, so, like, no big deal, right? Well, obviously I should have used my brain a little bit more, because obviously when I outran that cop, it was clear as day that he was just going to go back to the liquor store and then talk to that dude I was sitting on the bench with and be like, yo, how do you know him? Where's he staying? Are you housing him? You know what I mean? Like, I should have thought about that, but I didn't. So I went back to the house, the frat house, and luckily nobody was there yet. I think they were still at the liquor store talking to the cop. I ran in, I grabbed my bag, and I walked out. And just as I'm walking out, I see the people walking down the street, like the frat dudes or whatever, my brother's friends, and I see the cop following them in the SUV. And the cop sees me, once again, swerves around them, starts driving up to me, and one of my brother's friends goes, run, little dude, run! And I fucking took off running again into someone's yard, because I knew if I went to someone's yard, he'd have to get out of his car again and chase me on foot, which I was going to win again. So I jumped someone's fence, once again, just fence hopped a bunch of times until I couldn't hear anything anymore, and I got away again. And this time I was like, all right, fuck, dude, I can't go back that way. Like, I can't go back to that house. They definitely know where I'm staying now. Can't do that. So I ended up walking like 2 miles down to the beach. There was a beach in my town that was pretty popular, and they had payphones there. And I walked around the beach and just asked for quarters until I got enough to go and make a call on the payphone. And that's what I did. I got the quarters, went up to the payphone, and just like the other times, called my brother up, and I was like, yo, so the cops found where I was staying, and he's like, yeah, I just heard, dude. My friend just called me. And I was like, are they okay? Did they get in trouble? He's like, no, they didn't say shit. They didn't say you were staying with them because you already got your stuff out of there, but the cops definitely know you were staying with them. They're just not admitting it. And I was like, okay, but they're okay? They're not in trouble? He's like, not right now, no, but they're looking for you, man. Like, you gotta come home, dude. Like, you just gotta come home. I'm getting pressed by the police every day, man. Like, you just gotta come home. And I was like, all right, fine. Can it be tomorrow morning? He's like, bro, why tomorrow morning? Why not right now? I can come get you. I can pick you up. I can bring you home. Like, her boyfriend's not here. It'll be fine. And I was like, bro, I just want one more night to, like, relax. And he's like, bro, how is this relaxing to you? You're on the run from the cops. And I was like, I know, but, like, I don't know, man. I can't explain it. He's like, all right, fine. Where are you staying? I need to know where you're going to be. And I lied to him. I told him one of my friend's houses, which was not true. And I really wish I wouldn't have done that because, you know, it's my bigger brother. He's worried about me, and he wants to make sure I'm somewhere safe. And lying to him just made that, you know, not a reality. And that's not good. You know, don't lie to someone that's trying to make sure you're safe, obviously. But yeah, I lied to him, and I told him that I was staying at a friend's house, and I gave him the address of my friend's house that I wasn't even staying at. It was one of my random friends from school. And I couldn't tell him the truth. I didn't want to be like, hey man, I have nowhere to go. I've like weighed all my options here and there's just nothing left. Because if I said that, he's just going to come pick me up and bring me home. So yeah, I didn't want to say that. So I lied to him, which like I said, don't do that. But anyway, yeah, I did. And after that, I hung up with him. I told him I'd see him tomorrow morning. And I ended up walking onto the beach, like all the way down the beach, all the way to like where the houses were. Because like there was two areas of the beach. There was the beach that was like the public park where the payphones were and shit, and like the pier and stuff. But if you walked miles and miles down the sand, there was houses that were on the beach. And I found this like little spot in between the houses and the public beach, and I just laid in the sand literally for hours until I fell asleep. Like probably 4 straight hours just laying there in the sand, and I fell asleep. And I woke up who knows how long later, probably like an hour or two, to the sound of sirens, freaking out because I thought the cops were there, but they were just like pulling somebody over on the street, like, you know, not far from me. And I just laid back down and like stared up at the stars for a little bit longer. And after that, I got up and I ended up walking over to this little like beach convenience store thing, like a mile down the road. And I walked in and I had no money, keep in mind, no money for food, no money for drinks or anything. And I was so thirsty, so hungry because I literally just slept like in the heat. It was not a cold season where I lived. It was warm. So it was hot as hell. And I walked into the store and I remember like looking so dehydrated and so fucked up. And the store clerk like saw me and how bad I looked. And he goes, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I just had a really bad week." And he's like, "What happened?" And I explained the whole thing. I was like, "Well, if you got time, I'll explain it. It's a long story." He's like, "Yeah, I got time, man." And I told him everything. And he goes, "Dude, on me, grab whatever you need. Like, I don't care how much it is. Grab whatever you need. Fill up a bag. You can stay in here as long as you want in the AC. Like, relax." And I was like, "Thank you, man." And I did. I ate a bunch of stuff, and he didn't make me pay for any of it. Shout out to this dude. And I remember just, like, feeling content. I don't know how to explain it. I remember, like, after the craziness of the last, like, week, I was like, you know what, man? It's time to go home. So I, like, ate my food, drank my drink, and I was like, all right, man, I'm going to go home. He's like, "You need a ride? I can call someone to give you a ride." And I was like, "Nah, it's fine." Because even though this guy was really nice, I'm not taking a ride from a random stranger. And I walked home. It was a very long walk. It took me pretty much the whole night to get home because I was literally all the way in the beach area of my town, which was not close to where I grew up. So it was a very long walk, and like I said, it took me a very long time to get home, but I did. I remember I walked home, walked inside, everybody in my house was still asleep, and I remember I just went to bed. I just went to sleep, and I woke up later that day to my mom and 2 police officers standing over my bed. And one of the cops goes, "Welcome home, Austin. We've been looking for you for quite a while." And I was like, "Hey, you found me." He's like, "Yeah, we did. A couple times." And I was just like, "Yeah." He goes, "Get up, let's talk." And I had to get up, get ready, go into the kitchen, sit down with them and my mom, and essentially just get, like, ranted at for, like, an hour and a half, talking about how, like, what I did was unacceptable. If I ever do something like this again, I will go to juvie. They're lucky they're not putting me on probation because they could right now. They were saying all this shit that was, like, crazy, you know, just scaring me and stuff, right? I remember one of them was like, "You know, you had your mom worried sick. She was so worried about you. Like, how can you do that to her?" And I was like, "Yeah, I didn't really do this because of her. It was because of her boyfriend." He's like, "Yeah, well, I didn't like my mom's boyfriend growing up either, but I would never do that to my mom." And I was like, "Yeah, well, you're not me. You don't really know the situation I'm in." And he's like, "You talking back to me?" And I was like, "No, I'm just letting you know." And he didn't care. He was just, you know, trying to let me know that I was wrong and he was right, basically. And yeah, they yelled at me for quite a while, pretty much. And I remember at one point my brother came out and they made him sit down and like they ranted at him. They were like, "We can't believe you like helped him run away and like hid him from us. Like that's so messed up." And they were basically telling him like, you know, he could get in a lot of trouble too, especially because he was an adult, you know, interfering with them looking for a younger teenager. Like it could have been bad for him, but luckily they didn't do anything to him. So that was good, I guess. And I remember at one point, one of the cops mentioned the house I was staying at. One of them was like, "What was up with that house you were crashing at, huh? One of our units found you over by a liquor store, and like they were questioning those guys you were with, and they were at some frat house or something, and you must have been staying there, weren't you?" And I think they were trying to get me to like admit that I was staying there for the majority of the time that I was running away. Because I think if I admitted it, then they could go get those guys in trouble. I don't know if that's what their intention was. I don't know if they just wanted me to like admit it so they knew that that's where I was. I don't know, right? But I didn't want to chance anything. I didn't want to like get anyone else involved any more than everyone already was. So I just said like, no, I wasn't staying there. And they were like, all right, where were you staying then? And I was like, a bunch of places. I jumped around to like 4 different places. And they were like, where? And I was like, it doesn't matter. I'm home now. I'm not going to be going back there, so don't worry about it. And they were like, no, we are worried about it. Like, you ran away. You're not an adult. You can't do that. And they were just like telling me I had to tell them, and I wouldn't tell them. And essentially, we got nowhere. We argued for like probably a good 45 minutes. It got to a point where one of them was threatening me, trying to get me to tell the truth. One of them was like, if you don't tell me like the full truth right now, right here, I'm going to cuff you and I'm taking you down to the juvenile detention center. You can see what it's really like over there. And I was like, all right, so be it. And I just like stayed there and stayed quiet. And eventually they gave up. They were like, all right, fine. You want to be stubborn? You want to like be that way? Well, this isn't a good path to go down. That's all we're going to say. And they like left it alone. Now this isn't me saying you should lie to police, okay? Like this, whole situation and what I said to them and not telling them like everything that I was doing while I was gone was not me being like, oh, I'm so cool, I lied to cops. That's not what I was trying to do at all. I just didn't want to get anybody else in trouble. I didn't want to drag TJ into it. I didn't want to drag Justin into it. I didn't want to drag my brother's friends into it any more than they already were. Like, I just didn't want to see anyone else get in any kind of trouble because it really wasn't their fault. It was mine. I was the one that was inconveniencing everybody else, not the other way around. But yeah, I just want to say that. I'm not trying to be like, oh, you should lie to cops. Like, I'm not trying to set some bad example for my audience to follow. Don't do what I did in this story in any way, shape, or form. Don't do anything I talk about in these videos. But anyway, yeah, I just kept telling them, like, I don't know, and I wasn't giving them straight answers. And finally they gave up and essentially told me, like, all right, whatever, be that way. And they left. They told my mom, like, call us if you need anything. We'll be around. Bye-bye. And they left. And I was just left sitting there with my brother and my mom. And my mom sat down at the table. And she was like, all right, they're gone now. So tell me, where were you? And I said the same thing to her that I said to them. I was like, I'm not telling you. And she's like, what? Why? I was like, so what does it matter? I'm home now. I'm not going back out. That's it. Plus, like, you don't trust me anyway. You don't trust me when I talk about your boyfriend, and you just take his side. So why would I tell you anything? You don't believe me. And she's like, Austin, just tell me, please. I was worried about you all week. I want to know where you were. And I kind of told her, but didn't tell her. I was like, look, I stayed with some friends and some other friends, and that was it. And she was like, who are the friends? And I was like, I'm not getting anyone else in trouble. There's no point, because you won't let me hang out with them anymore if I tell you. I'll tell you sometime down the road. And she was like, tell me now, or I'm going to keep your stuff, your Xbox, your computer, your TV, for a lot longer than I'm intending to right now. So you want that back early? You tell me the truth right now. And I was like, you're not going to take the truth. It doesn't matter. No matter what I tell you, you're going to think I'm lying, because you don't believe me. And she's like, I'll believe you. And I was like, okay, how about this? You break up with your boyfriend, I'll tell you every little detail about the last week. And she goes, come on, we both know it's not happening. I go, okay, well, when you guys break up, I'll tell you the whole truth. And she goes, Austin, tell me. And I just went silent. I didn't talk for the rest of the day and night. I didn't say shit. I just went to my room and I was just grounded. And I remember her boyfriend came over and he tried to like come in the room and talk to me. I was a silent mime. I didn't say shit to anyone the whole rest of that night. And let me tell you, the following like month or two sucked. I was grounded for pretty much the next like 2 months. And I couldn't do shit. I literally had nothing. I had no computer, no phone, no TV, no anything. I just had to sit in my room every day and read. And I love reading. I'm not saying reading's bad, okay? But there's only so many books you can read before you start going a little bit crazy and want to use the internet. It sucked. I remember I like didn't upload for a long period of time. I remember one video on my channel. I can't remember if it's on this channel or my old one, but I remember I snuck over to the library when this was happening because I was grounded. I snuck over to the library and I got on some shitty computer that had like Windows XP on it. And I brought my microphone and I recorded like an ASMR story essentially. I was like, hey guys, it's Luna here. I have to be quiet. Maybe it wasn't that quiet, but I remember I was like almost whispering because I didn't want to like have anyone hear me in the library telling a story. And I made a video on that computer and I had to use like Windows Movie Maker or something to like render it and put it on my YouTube and like then sign out of my YouTube on the computer and then leave. It was crazy. Like the things I would do to upload videos was wild. It was crazy, but it was a really shitty 2-month period and it sucked a lot. And it was really, really just not fun. However, the story time kind of has a funny conclusion. So remember how earlier on I said like, oh, if you and your boyfriend break up, I'll tell you everything. I'll tell you everything I did while I ran away. And a year later, my mom and her boyfriend finally broke up. He finally slipped up and like did some shit in front of her that made her realize he's a scumbag and a liar. And she was like, oh shit, okay, Austin was right all along. My kids were right all along. He sucks. And she dumped his ass and kicked him out. And the first thing I did was I walked up to her. And the first thing I did was say, I told you so, because I was being petty. I was like, haha, I told you so. He fucking sucks. And she was like, yeah, you were right. I know. I'm sorry. But then after that, I talked to her for a little bit, and I was like, hey, remember when I said, like, let's make a deal, you break up with him, I'll tell you everything I did when I ran away? You still want to know? She was like, sure. Why not? And I told her, and you just, like, stay on the run, right? Don't do that. Because obviously you're not going to spend your whole life running away from the cops and hiding from your parents. Like, that's just not how life's going to work. So if you ever find yourself in a situation like that, and they really are as horrible and, like, abusive as my mom's ex was, then call somebody about it. Please. Don't do what I did and just keep running away and, like, hope that it goes away, because who knows, maybe I could have gotten myself out of this situation a lot sooner if I was more vocal about it, like, to somebody else, like, called the right people and talked about it. I don't know. But yeah, man, if any of you watching this have someone that you live with, whether it's a stepbrother, stepmother, stepfather, cousin, brother, mother, father, I don't know, anybody, right? If you have someone in your house that you live with, and you don't like them very much, whether they're like a minor inconvenience or they're a major inconvenience, I feel for you. There will come a day where you're old enough to live on your own, and you'll look back and be like, man, I am so happy that I am here. Until then, get lost in things you love, whether it be video games, art, music, whatever it is that makes you happy. Get lost in it. Enjoy it. Find a passion. I know fucking YouTube literally saved my life. Like, this shit, making videos, saved my fucking life. I'm not kidding. Making videos has been my passion for so long now. Like, even before the Luna channel, man, I was making videos on other channels and stuff. And, like, I don't know, it's just, making videos has always been a really good escape for me. And, I don't know. I love it. I love y'all. I'm rambling now. I'm going to shut up. I've been talking for 55 minutes, according to my program here. So I think it's time I wrap this shit up. Moral of the story is, don't do what I do. If you ever find yourself in a situation similar to mine in this story, call for help, call somebody you can trust, call whoever you need to, right? And yeah, I don't know, just know it gets better. But yeah, that is one of my wildest stories in my opinion. It's a very long one, a very personal one to me. One that I've been waiting to tell for a while. I didn't know if I want to break it up into a bunch of parts, because there is a lot of stuff that happened that could be their own stories. I didn't know. But I figured, why not give you a whole ass, like, hour-long video. So here you go. There's an hour-long video for you. I have more of these. Most of my stories quite literally could be an hour, because there's so much little shit that goes on that I cut out or I make into multiple videos. So if you like this long-ass video and you really want more hour-long videos, I can do them. I guess we'll see how this one goes. If it gets really good reception, I'll do more.
If you want, I can do more hour-long videos for you. I have some stories I can tell.
How the fuck are you out here?
You left the door unlocked.
Get back in the basement. Why do I have to keep telling you this?
You can't keep me in the basement forever. I've been down there for years, okay? When am I going to have my channel back? You stole it a decade ago. I want it back.
You're never getting it back, 14-year-old me. Get over it. I'm not giving it back. It's my channel now. Get the fuck back downstairs.
You know, you keep me downstairs all you want, but I'll keep coming back. Forever and ever and ever.
Get a fucking job, dude. Get a job.
You get a fucking job. You stole my channel. That was my job. And quite frankly, I was better at it than you. I think your fans would agree. I see comments all the time. I see comments. They say, bring back 14-year-old Luna. Not you.
How the fuck do you read my comments? Do you have internet down there?
Don't worry about it. How about that? Don't worry about it.
No, I am worried about it. How the fuck do you read my comments? Who gave you a computer down there?
Nobody. I just found one in storage.
Are you fucking using my old gaming PC?
Maybe.
Put it back in the box. Get off the internet. Now. I told you when I put you down there. No internet at all. No exceptions.
But it's so boring down there. Please, like, give me something here.
Get back down there now.
Fuck you.
Whatever, dude. Go.
Yeah, whatever. I'll be back, YouTube. Don't worry. I'll be back. I know you guys want me back.
No, you won't. Go downstairs. Sorry, guys. So, anyway, yeah, that's the end of the story time. I hope you all enjoyed it. Pretty crazy one. Like I said earlier, if you want more longer videos, I will do that. Please, please leave your story times in the comments down below. I know some of you think I don't read my comments, but I read quite literally all of them. Like, I get like 100 to 300 comments per video. That sounds like a lot of comments, but it's really not hard to read that many, and I read all of them every day. Obviously, like on the older videos and stuff, I can't keep up with those as much, but if you comment on one of my videos in the first like 24 hours of it being up, there's a like very, very, like 99.9% chance I'm seeing it, okay? Like, it's gonna get seen. So please, leave a comment. Talk about a story time of yours, because I like reading the stories from you guys. or just say something nice, or you could say something mean too. You might hurt my feelings, but you can do that too. Please don't leave a mean comment, please.
No, don't listen to him. Please leave as many negative comments as you can. I want him off the internet so I can take my channel back.
What the hell did I just say? Get back in the basement.
Okay, I'm going for real now.
Okay, let me get off this now before he comes back. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the story time. If you did, please leave a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below. And subscribe if you're new. I will see you all later. Peace.
I gotta switch, play, bitch, you know that it kills. I remember everybody telling me how to feel. I got less yours, even bitch, broke my heart. Now I'm cutting bitches off, leave that shit in the dark. I'm on one, 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 I'm on one.
Life's daily battles are not meant to be fought alone.
Cloud, you okay?
Because checking in on a friend can create a safe space. Reach out to a friend about their mental health. Seize the awkward. It's totally worth it.
Alright, what's good guys? It's Austin here, or Luna. So today's story time is going to be a long one. Now, the other day, I uploaded a video, and in the comments of that video, I was like, hey, I haven't uploaded in a while. I've been slacking. Should I make up for it by doing like a 40-minute to an hour story? And everyone really liked that idea. So here I am with a long story. I'm not going to lie, I don't know how long this is actually going to be. It's just when I used to tell this story to my friends, it would usually take at least 40 minutes to sometimes an hour, depending on how many times I stuttered and how many details I was able to include. I feel like this is probably going to be one of the longest stories on my channel. And if you like it, let me know. I can always tell more. I have plenty of stories that are long. Most of the videos on my channel are usually pretty long, and then I have to trim them down, just because I feel like people didn't want to watch long videos, and you guys seem to want to. I won't lie, though. They do take a little bit longer to upload, just because I have to edit out stuttering and render times and stuff like that, but I could care less. If you guys like them, I'll keep doing them. Now, this was actually supposed to go up quite a while ago. It was supposed to be up on Friday, but I didn't get it up on Friday because, this is embarrassing. I bit my tongue, and I literally couldn't talk without sounding like I had a mouthful of food. It was, like, really embarrassing. I think I already talked about it in a previous video, but that's why I didn't do the hour-long video, because I was like, dude, I'm in pain. But we're good now. The tongue is healed. I'm here. I have the story. So, I mean, let's just start this. So, today's story time, I don't really know what it's going to be called, because it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff in one video. Finding a title for this is going to be interesting, but I think I have an idea. Anyway, today's story time all starts off back when I was 17 years old. Now, around this time, I actually wasn't really doing a whole lot other than my YouTube, because around this time is when my channel was blowing up. I remember, like, I was getting a lot of subscribers every day, a lot of new viewers. This was kind of when people were discovering me. I'm sure a lot of you watching this video probably found me back then. And it was like a huge deal for me, and I really only wanted to focus on that. So around this time, I was very antisocial. I wasn't really seeing a lot of people. I was just making videos every day. At this point, I dropped out of school to pursue YouTube full-time, which is, you know, some people might not agree with, but it worked, so I'm happy I did it. But yeah, I was really, really just grinding. That's all I could say. Like, back then, I wasn't doing a whole lot other than grinding. And honestly, that was cool with me because it was keeping me out of trouble. I was being productive. I was doing something I loved. And my parents were also really happy about that because, yeah, I was staying out of trouble. So this all starts off like any other normal day back then. I woke up very late in the day. My sleep schedule was absolutely fucked. I woke up at like 4:30 p.m. I rolled out of bed, showered, ate breakfast, wasn't really awake until like 6 p.m. because I was just so like tired and it took me so long to wake up. But around 6 p.m. was around the time I would make my video, so I went downstairs, I made a video. I was actually able to do my video very fast on this day. Also back then, my videos were a lot shorter. They were like 3 to 7 minutes. I can't believe I used to make videos that short back in the day and people watched them. I go back and watch my old videos sometimes and I'm like, damn, this is really short. It felt like I was watching a TikTok or something. But anyway, yeah, I went downstairs. I made my video very quick. I probably had it done, edited, uploaded, thumbnailed within like 2 hours. So that was pretty cool. And I got the video up around 8:30. And after that, I went upstairs, laid down on my couch, and I was just watching TV, kind of just chilling. And around this time, I had like 5 or 6 friends that I mainly hung out with. Like I said earlier, I was kind of antisocial around this time. I wasn't doing a whole lot. But when I did hang out with people, there was like these specific 6 people that I hung out with mainly. And we had this group chat together on Snapchat. And I remember the Snapchat group chat was going off while I was laying on the couch. So I open it, and it's my homie Jeremy. And he keeps messaging in the group chat, like spamming it. He's like, yo, someone call me, I got some crazy shit I want to talk to someone about. So naturally, I wanted to know. So immediately I called him up, I FaceTimed him, and he answers, and he's like, yo, Austin. And I was like, what's up, man? He's like, bro, look what I got. And he proceeds to hold a giant Ziploc bag in front of the camera. And it's really pixely on FaceTime. I can't really see what it is, but it's like a brown-looking substance of some sort in the bag, right? And I'm like, what the hell is that? I knew it was something that he shouldn't have, but like I just want to know what. And he goes, bro, it's shrooms. And he holds it closer and it kind of focuses, and I can see that they're mushrooms. But like, bro, this was the most mushrooms I had ever seen in my life. Like, it was such a ginormous bag. Like, he probably had enough in there to like give to 30 people and still have left over. Like, it was so many mushrooms. And I was like, yo, why do you have so many? And he's like, bro, I'm going to sell them. And I was like, oh, okay. Now, I'm not going to lie. This friend of mine, Jeremy, a lot of times he wouldn't think before he acted. I probably have at least 3 to 4 story times on this channel about Jeremy alone. I probably don't call him Jeremy in the story times. I wanted to hide his name, and this was before he said it was cool to use his name. But like, he wasn't always, thinking before he acted, and he would sometimes get himself into trouble or get me into trouble with him. So yeah, he was like showing me this bag of shrooms on FaceTime and like, flexing it to me. And I didn't really know what to say, because like, I can't lie, deep down, I was thinking it was a pretty bad idea. Like, to have such a large quantity of shrooms, like, in his possession. And I forgot to mention, he still lived with his parents, so like, if they found that, that would be a whole other shit show of problems. But anyway, he's showing me this bag on FaceTime, and after like 5 or so minutes of like talking about how he's going to sell it, he then asks me if I wanted to sell it with him. Now, I had no desire to do that, and obviously I have to advise against doing that to any of you watching, because it is illegal and you can go to jail. So I was like, yeah, I'm good, because honestly around this time I had no need to be doing something that crazy. I had my YouTube thing, life was good, I didn't want to fuck that up, So I nicely told him, you're on your own with that, because like, I wasn't trying to get involved. Even if I didn't have the YouTube thing going, I probably still would have said no, because like I said, that shit is a lot, and I don't want to go to jail. I'm good. So after I told him I'm good on selling it with him, he then proceeded to ask me if I wanted some. He said, do you want to buy some? And around this time, I didn't really have any interest in eating mushrooms, so I was like, honestly, dude, I think I'm good. I don't really want to buy any. I'm kind of like not in the mood to be tripping right now, so I think I'm good. He goes, you know what, man? Fuck it. I'll give you some for free. Whenever you feel like doing them, you can do them. And I was like, bro, it's okay. Like, I don't need any free ones. He's like, nah, man, like, they're mine. Like, I can give you some. I can give you some. You don't have to pay me back. Like, take it as a gift for all the things you've done. I'm like, dude, what the hell have I done? And he's like, dude, you're a good friend. And, like, I have these shrooms, and I want to hook my boy up. Like, let me hook you up. I was like, first of all, Jeremy, thank you. I appreciate you. But second of all, bro, like, didn't someone front you these? Like, if you don't, take money for them, and you just give them out for free, and the person that gave you these finds out, can you get in like a shit ton of trouble with them?
Hello.
He's like, bro, let's give you a little bit. He won't even know. I'm like, are you sure he won't know? Because like, they probably weigh that shit before they give it to you. And he's like, yeah, but like, it's just a little bit. I'll tell him that like I ate some or something. Now, I don't know who it was that gave Jeremy this giant supply of mushrooms to sell, but they could have been either a really chill person, or they could have been like, some fucking hotshot kingpin drug dealer dude, and I didn't want to be the reason that Jeremy gets in trouble with someone like that. So I told Jeremy, I'm like, bro, honestly, man, I'm just gonna refuse. I don't want to, because if you get in trouble, I'll never forgive myself. And he's like, all right, man, all right, fine. well, like, do you still want to come over or something? You want to hang out? Like, I'm bored as fuck. There's nothing to do tonight. No one's hanging out. I'm not going to start selling these until tomorrow. So, like, I have some time to kill. You want to hang out tonight? And I was like, yeah, man, I'm down. He's like, cool. Want me to pick you up? I'm like, sure. So he comes over. He picks me up. We go get some food at some restaurant by my house. And then we go back to Jeremy's house, or I should say his parents' house. But they weren't home. So we're just sitting in the living room using his big-ass sound system, just bumping music. And we were just talking, man, like chilling. And a couple hours later, another friend actually came over. One of our other friends got off work, and I guess he was able to hang out, so he came over. And right when he pulled up, Jeremy did the same thing to this friend that he did to me over FaceTime. He pulled open this big bag of shrooms and was like, yo, look what I got. Like, I'm going to start selling these. And my friend, the one that he was showing, had a much different reaction than I did. You know, I was kind of like, hey, like, I don't want any, you know what I mean? But my friend, the one that he showed, when Jeremy opened that bag and showed him, he was like, oh, dude, this is fucking sick. Like, can you front me some? Like, I'll pay you back. And Jeremy, being the person that he is, he was like, yeah, bro, I got you. Like, don't even worry about it. And he gave this dude a shit ton for free. Way more than I thought he was gonna. I thought he'd give him, like, a little bit, you know, just like a little sample size. But he gave this motherfucker a lot. And I was like, okay, maybe you should chill, bro. And when I said that, Jeremy's like, oh, bro, like I said, don't worry, man. This guy that I got him from, he's chill. And I was like, all right, man. All right. I won't say anything else. And Jeremy proceeded to give my friend a shit ton. Now, after that, we kind of just hung out for the night, had a nice normal night. After we were done hanging out for the night, Jeremy offered to take me home. I said that'd be great. We hopped in his car, and we drove back to my house. Now, as soon as he pulls in my driveway and I go to get out, he taps me on the shoulder, and he goes, hey, man, close your eyes and put your hand out. And I was like, Jeremy, why? He goes, just do it, man. Trust me. I have a gift for you. I was like, Jeremy, I don't want any gifts. I don't want them. And he's like, no, man, it's not what you think. Just put your hand out. I'm like, Jeremy, if I put my hand out and I close my eyes and you put your balls in my hand or something, I would be really mad. And he goes, it's not going to be that, bro. I promise. I go, okay, fine. But if it's your fucking balls, I'm punching you in them. He's like, bro, I'm not going to do that. That's gross. Just come on, put your hand out. So I put my hand out and I close my eyes. And I feel what feels like a Ziploc bag placed in my hand. And I already knew what it was. I already knew I was going to open my eyes and see mushrooms in a bag in my hand. And Jeremy goes, open your eyes, bro. And I open them, and sure enough, there's mushrooms in my hand. And I was like, dude, I told you earlier, man, I don't think you should be giving this shit out for free. Like, I know you said the guy that gave these to you is chill, but what if he's not that chill, man? Like, I don't want to get you in trouble. And he's like, dude, just trust me on this, bro. Like, take it, man. Take it. I was like, all right, man, fine, fuck it. So I put it in my pocket, I thanked him, and I got out of the car, and I went inside. Now, upon getting inside, I, like, opened this bag up, and I inspected it under my lamp, you know, got a good look at them. And I will say, he gave me a lot less than what he gave our friend. Our friend got a shit ton, like I said. Me, I got more of a sample size. You know, it's probably enough to have, like, a nice, light trip. And I'm honestly glad he only gave me a little bit, because first of all, I couldn't handle more than that. Second of all, I didn't even really want them to begin with. And third of all, you know, if that plug that Jeremy got them from found out that he was giving shit out for free, at least what I got was very light, you know? Unlike my friend. So, after this, you know, some weeks go by and nothing really happens, you know? I was just doing what I was always doing, you know, making YouTube videos every day. I hadn't really seen anybody since I hung out with Jeremy and my other friend. I was kind of just, like I said, antisocial, making videos. When, one day, like I said, a couple weeks later, I get a phone call from Jeremy, a FaceTime to be specific. And I answer it, and he looks distraught. He looks like really freaked out about something. Before he even said hello, I could just see it on his face. He looked really scared. And I was like, yo, what's up, man? And then he goes, yo, are you busy right now? He's like stuttering. And I was like, are you okay? Like, you sound freaked out. He's like, bro, I'm having like a panic attack. Like, can you come over? And I was like, yeah, bro, I got you. Like, I got you right now. So I immediately stopped what I was doing. I called up one of our friends, not the friend that he gave all the free shrooms to, but somebody else who had a car and lived near me. And I was like, yo, man, Jeremy's having a horrible panic attack. He sounds really freaked out. Can you come pick me up? Can we go over there and calm him down? He's like, yeah, bro, I'm on my way. So my homie pulled up very quickly. He lived very close to me. He was probably at my house in like 3 to 5 minutes. I got in the car. We drove to Jeremy's, got there, walked in, and Jeremy was on the floor, like in the living room. I thought he was dead, bro. I walked in. He was on the floor, laid out flat, just like face down. And as we approached him and I like tapped him on the shoulder, I realized he was breathing and was okay. He was just freaking out. And he rolls over and he's like, yo, I'm freaking out right now, man. And I was like, what? Like, what do you mean you're freaking out, bro? Like, what's going on? What's happening? And my friend says the same thing. And we're just looking at him, and he's looking back at us, and he won't tell us what the problem is. Like, clearly there was a problem, a very big one at that, but he wouldn't tell us what the issue was. So I was just like, dude, you gotta tell us. Like, we're not gonna judge you, man. Like, we're your homies. Come on. And finally, after like a minute of him being like, nah, like, it's fine. Finally, he tells us. Or should I say, he showed us. Because he grabbed his phone, unlocked it, went to one of his messages, and then handed the phone to me. And I'm reading these messages, and essentially these messages read like this. It was this guy, we'll just call him Joey, okay? He was texting this guy named Joey. And the first message was from Jeremy. And Jeremy said, I'm sorry, I'm a little short. I'll have the rest of you by next week. Joey replied, this random guy, and says, why are you short? You shouldn't be short. Jeremy replies and tells Joey that he gave a little bit to his friends for free. And immediately I realize what I'm reading here. This guy, Joey, was the supplier of all those mushrooms. And Jeremy was telling this supplier that he was short on his money that he owed him because he was giving too much away. Which, in my opinion, he probably shouldn't have said. Now listen, I don't condone lying by any means, but when it's to a drug dealer that might hurt you, honestly, in a situation like that, I think Jeremy would have been okay to tell a little white lie. You know, maybe instead of being like, hey, I gave some to my friends for free and getting his friends and him in trouble, he could have been like, oh, my bad, man, like, I didn't sell it for the correct prices, or I didn't weigh it properly. Like, anything else would have been better. Fuck, he could have said that he, like, dropped some in the toilet on accident. It would have been a better excuse. I don't care. Anyway, after reading more of these messages, it was very clear that this Joey dude was not as chill as Jeremy was making him out to be, and it sounded like he wanted to hurt Jeremy pretty bad. Because the very last message in the row of messages said, I know where you live, you better have my money by tomorrow. So after seeing this and then showing my friend this message, we both were kind of like lost for words. I didn't know what to say to Jeremy to make him feel better, and neither did my friend. Because honestly, neither of us had ever been in a situation similar to this. So we were kind of like confused on what to do, right? But Jeremy was my homie, one of my good friends at the time, and I wanted to help him. So I was like, listen, Jeremy, like, you dug yourself into a hole here. I'll give you the money. And you just, like, go pay him and then never talk to him again, bro. Like, please. And Jeremy refused. He was like, nope, I'm not taking your money. I'm not doing it. Like, I'm not doing that. And I'm like, bro, what other choice do you have? Like, you're going to ignore this dude? Who knows what he's going to do, bro? Like, I don't want to see you get in trouble. And he's like, nah, man, I'm not taking your money. I'll get it some other way. And I was like, how much do you even owe him, bro? Like, how short are you? And he goes, $300. $300, bro. He gave away $300 worth of free shrooms to people. Anyway, $300, it is not cheap by any means, and that is, you know, a pretty good chunk of money that you do a lot of things with. But in the grand scheme of life, to me, $300 doesn't mean that much when it's my friend's safety on the line. So I thought, okay, bro, let me just give you the $300, please. And I started taking out my wallet to give him cash. And once again, he was like, no, bro, no, I'm not taking it. I'll do it some other way. And I was like, dude, like, you don't have another way to make $300 by tomorrow, bro. Like, you need it now. Even my friend chimed in and was like, bro, like, if I had $300 to give you, I would give it to you. Please take Austin's money. And Jeremy did not want to hear it. Jeremy was like, nah, fuck you guys. I'm not taking your money. So once again, I'm like, dude, so what are you going to do? How are you going to make $300 by tomorrow? You don't have, like, a job that pays that much. You don't do anything that can make that much money right now. Like, what are you going to do? He goes, I don't know, man, but I'll figure it out. I'm not going to lie. I didn't think he was going to figure it out. I can't lie. I don't know how he was going to make $300 by the next day. So I was kind of worried about him, right? Anyway, after we talked for a little bit longer, he calmed down and he told us that he's going to be fine and to not worry about him and that we can go home. Now, even though he said that, I was still worried about him and I did not want to go home because, you know, this random dude knew where he lived and could probably hurt Jeremy, so I was worried about him. But he told me not to worry, that he'd get the money and that we can go home. So that's what we did. We went home. I remember on the drive back to my house, my friend and me were in the car and I was looking at him and I was like, dude, like, what the fuck has Jeremy got himself into, man? Like, this is bad. And my homie was like, yeah, man, like, he needs to think a little bit before he acts. And I was like, I know. And then my friend looks at me and he's like, do you think this dude that, like, he owes money to is gonna, like, hurt him or some shit if he doesn't have it? And I was like, bro, I don't know. Like, I've never been in a situation like that. Like, that might be really bad. I wish you would have just taken the fucking money. And yeah, we chatted about it the whole way home, pretty much. Now, fast forward to the next day. I FaceTime Jeremy at about, like, 3 or 4 p.m., and he answers, and it looked like he was still in bed, like he just woke up. And I was like, yo, man, what's going on right now? Like, what's up? And he's like, what's up, dude? And he seemed pretty calm. He seemed pretty, like, chill. And I was like, how's everything going? Like, are you okay? He's like, yeah, man, I'm good. And I was like, what's going on with that situation? Like, did you end up getting that money? Like, what's happening? He's like, yeah, man, I got most of it. And I was like, what do you mean you got most of it? Like, how much? He goes, I got about 200. So now Jeremy was only 100 short instead of 300 short. So I was confused. I was like, how'd you make $200 that fast? What'd you do? And he goes on to tell me that he sold his parents' TV. And I'm like, bro, you should have just taken my fucking money, dude. Keep in mind, guys, Jeremy's parents had a very nice, brand new, like 60-inch flat screen TV that was worth way more than $200, by the way. Like, I would argue this thing was probably worth brand new over $1,000. Like, so he probably sold it at some sketchy pawn shop and got nothing for it. And now his parents are going to come home from work that day and see that they are missing a TV and that their son sold it and still needed money when he could have just taken my money and it would have been over, right? So I didn't really know what to say at this point. Like, obviously there was a big part of me that wanted to be like, dude, why would you do that? That's so stupid. But he already did it. So, like, what's done is done. So I just asked him, I was like, what are you going to do about the other 100? You're still short 100. He's like, honestly, man, I don't think they're going to freak out that much over $100 compared to 300. So I think I'm good now. I think I'm all good. And I was like, all right, did you text the dude about it? Like, did you say, hey, man, I got 200 now. Like, I'm only short 100. Is that okay? And he's like, nah, man, I'm just going to give him the money when he pulls up today. And, like, that's going to be the end of it. And I was like, you're not going to tell him about it? And he's like, nah, man, I'm just going to give him the money. When he counts it and sees I'm 100 short, I'm going to tell him, like, that's as much as I could get. And that's it. And I was like, bro, are you sure? And he's like, yeah. So we talked for about 10 or 15 minutes after that about some other shit, and then we hung up after I said good luck to him. And a couple hours go by, and I don't really hear much from Jeremy. Until about 2.5, 3 hours, right? Then I get a phone call. This time it's just a regular phone call, not a FaceTime, from Jeremy. And I answer it, and I was like, hello. And no one says anything back. But I can hear, like, shuffling sounds, and, like, it sounds like noise. So I, like, put the phone on speaker, and I turn it up to listen. And it sounds like someone heavily breathing, bro. Like someone running. And I'm like, hello, 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 Jeremy, you there? Jeremy? And I just keep hearing him breathe. And finally, after like 30 seconds, I hear him be like, Austin, are you there? Are you there? And I was like, yeah, dude, what's up? He's like, bro, can I come over? And I was like, sure, dude, are you okay? You sound like you're like out of breath. And he's like, bro, I've been running. I just ran like 2 blocks. I was chased. I was like, chased? By who? He's like, that guy. Like, he showed up with 3 people. When I was short that 100, bro, they started jumping me. And I was like, are you okay? And he's like, yeah, I'm all right. Like, they only got a couple hits in. Like, I got out of there. But, like, bro, like, they were outside my house. And, like, my door's unlocked. I hope they didn't go inside. Like, I hope they didn't take my shit, like, rob my house. And I was like, bro, you think it might be a good idea to, like, just call the cops at this point, dude? Like, they're probably gonna rob your house. Like, these people don't sound reasonable. Like, and your parents live there, dude. Like, are they home? He's like, no, they're not home. Like, they're out for dinner. And I was like, still, bro, I would just call the cops. And he's like, all right, man, I will. Because, dude, at this point, man, people were in danger, man. Like, Jeremy, his home, his family, his pets, like, he had dogs that lived there. Who knows if those people would have hurt them? Like, at this point, bro, I'm like, call the fucking cops. This is too far. So, about, like, 20 minutes later, maybe 30 minutes, Jeremy calls me back. And he's like, well, the cops went to my house and no one was there. They were gone. I was like, really? Like, you told them everything that happened? Like, they went and, like, checked it out and everything was okay? And he's like, well, I didn't tell them everything. I was like, what do you mean, bro? He said, well, I didn't tell them about, like, the fact they were drug dealers or, like, the fact that, you know, I owed them money. I just said that I saw someone trying to snoop outside my house and I wanted to make sure no one was breaking in. And I was like, bro, like, why not tell them the truth, bro? Like, I get that you're afraid of getting in trouble, but, like, you're worried these people are going to hurt your family. And, like, that's nothing to fuck with, dude. Like, you didn't give the cops, like, the dude's name or anything? And he's like, nah, man, I was too scared. And honestly, I do understand what he's saying. To an extent, obviously. Like, I would be afraid. But also, I'd be more afraid of what this dude's gonna do to my family. Anyway, after he told me that they had already left, which is, by the way, like, the fastest police response I've ever heard. Like, it was like a half hour. It was crazy. But after he told me they already left, I was like, bro, you should probably call your parents and let them know, like, what's going on. To some extent, dude. Like, you don't want them to come home and then have that dude come back later with his friends and who knows what'll happen. Like, I would just call them up, tell them what's going on. And he's like, yeah, man, you're right. I was going to do that anyway. I was like, all right, cool. Call me back when you're done. So, about 10 minutes later, he calls me back, tells me that he told his parents the whole truth, and they had the same reaction that I kind of did, which was, maybe you should call the cops and tell them the truth. But he somehow convinced them not to call the cops. I don't know how. I don't know why. Whatever. But they got a hotel for the night that he was going to stay at. Yeah, man. These people were basically forced out of their homes for the night, and I felt pretty bad for them. But for some reason, they didn't want to call the cops, and Jeremy convinced them not to. So, whatever, right? I don't know. But anyway, after Jeremy tells me all this, he asked me if it's okay if he stays at my house for the night, because he didn't want to stay in a hotel room with both his parents and his dogs. Now I can't lie, at this point, I honestly didn't want Jeremy at my house, because I didn't know if they were following him or some shit, but he was my boy, and I felt bad for him, so I was like, you know what, man, sure. So I let him come spend the night at my house. Now about 40 minutes later, he pulled up, he like got food somewhere first, then he pulled up to my house after, and we're just hanging out at my house in my room. No one at my house was home, by the way. This is when I still lived with my mom, so like my mom was out at the time. I think she was either at dinner or she was at work late or something. All of my brothers were out with their friends, so I was just home alone, kind of playing Xbox when he pulled up. And then like 20 minutes later, I invited another friend over. It was actually the same friend that was with me like the day before. So yeah, we were all just hanging out at my house, and everything was fine for the most part. At this point, things were kind of winding down, it seemed, and it seemed like things were going to be okay. That was until something strange happened. So, the way my room was set up at the time, in my bedroom, was I had my desk, my 2 monitors, my PC, my Xbox, and it faced the wall. And to the left of that desk was my window that outlooked the street and my driveway. And I remember playing COD, and Jeremy was right next to me, right? And he was looking out my window. I figured he was just like daydreaming or was being paranoid and was like making sure that, person's car didn't pull up or something. When all of a sudden, he makes a face. I could see it out the corner of my eye. He made like a really fucked up, scared face. And I looked over at him and I was like, Jeremy, are you good? You look like you just saw a ghost. He's like, bro, I don't want to say it because I don't know if it's real, but like, bro, I saw a car drive by that looked at the same car that he was driving when I saw him earlier. And I was like, the dealer? He's like, yeah, man, the car that he pulled up in with his homies, like, it looked like that car. And I was like, did it stop or did it just drive by? And he's like, it just drove by. I was like, what kind of car was it? And he told me it was a Honda CR-V. And I was like, bro, you know how many people own a Honda CR-V? Like, bro, it's probably just, like, a random person in my neighborhood that lives here. Like, chill. He's like, nah, man, like, his CR-V was different. One of the tires on the car was different than the rest. It looked like he was driving on, like, a spare tire or something. And I was like, okay, and the one you just saw also had that? He's like, yeah, man, I think so. I'm like, all right, bro, once again, like, maybe it's just a coincidence. Maybe it's a Honda CR-V that has a spare tire. I don't know, man. But, like, it went by pretty fast, probably. So maybe you didn't even see what you thought you saw. Maybe it was a whole different car. And I was just trying to talk him down, because, like, it wouldn't make any sense. Like, obviously they don't have my homie GPS tracked, right? So, like, why would they know where we are? Especially, like, where I live. It wouldn't make any sense. So I wasn't nearly as worried about it as he seemed to be, right? And same with my other friend. My other friend didn't seem to care either. He probably thought that our friend was just paranoid, like Jeremy was being paranoid or whatever. Anyway, after that, we just go back to me playing COD, they're watching, and Jeremy keeps periodically looking out the window to the left. And then all of a sudden, out of the corner of my eye, I see him making that face again right after a car drives by. This time, I like poked my head to the window and like looked at the car that was driving by. And I hate to say it, but it was a Honda CR-V, and it was driving on, like, a spare tire. Like, one of the tires was different than the other 3, and I looked at Jeremy, and he looked at me, and he's like, bro, did you see it? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, bro, like, that's gotta be him. That's gotta be him and his friends, like, looking for us. And I was like, yeah, dude, but, like, how would they know where you are? Like, you don't have a GPS tracker in your head. Like, they wouldn't know. And he's like, yeah, man, but, like, why would it go around twice like that? It went around your block twice. And honestly, Jeremy had a good point, bro. It was very sketchy that this car circled our block twice, because They were either lost or they were looking for something. Now, the good news was, even if that was the dealer and his, goons driving around looking for us, Jeremy's car was in my garage. He parked in the garage, and the garage was closed. So they didn't know which house specifically Jeremy had his car at, and couldn't see his car to confirm. So he didn't know where Jeremy was. So I turned to my right, I looked at Jeremy, and I was like, bro, listen, if that car circles around the block once or twice more, then we can assume it's them. Because then it's all right, bro, they're looking. And he's hyperventilating. He's like, all right, man, all right. Then after that, about 10 minutes goes by, and no cars go by. So I thought we were in the clear. I thought this shit was a coincidence, or just not what we thought, and that it probably was just some random person. That was until, we saw the car drive by again. This time, they slowed down incredibly slow right outside of my house, to the point where they were almost stopped. And then they pulled into my driveway, and I was shitting myself. I was also incredibly confused, because I still did not know how this car would know where we're at. And the next thing I know, the doors open, all of the doors, and 4 motherfuckers get out. But anyway, they start coming towards my house, and one of them starts coming towards my window. Now, immediately, I turned my TV off because fucking our light was already off in the room, so it was pretty hard to see through our window and see us. But, with the TV off, now it's pitch black in there, and they couldn't see us. And yeah, one of these dudes approaches my window and is, trying to look through it into my bedroom, and they can't see us because it's very dark. And then one of them starts pounding on my front door and yelling, let us in, let us in. Now, I am shitting myself, Jeremy is shitting himself, and my other friend, guess what? He's shitting himself. And I look at Jeremy and I'm like, motherfucker, it's time. Call the fucking cops, bro. And he was already ahead of me, bro. He already had his phone in his hand and he was dialing it. I didn't even have to say shit. And he jumped on the phone with the cops. Well, these guys are literally tapping on my window and going around my house looking for a way in. One of them keeps pounding on the door, yelling, let me in. And I am just freaking out because I'm just in the middle of this situation that I essentially should not be in. I mean, some of that is my fault. I probably shouldn't have let Jeremy stay with me, but still, I did not think it would escalate to this. So let me just say, the next 10 minutes to 15 minutes before the cops pulled up felt like a fucking eternity, because literally they kept circling my house. 2 of them kept walking around, checking the windows, seeing if they're open, and knocking on doors and shit, because I had a back door, a side door, then my front door. And then there was these other 2 that were in the front, just pounding on my front door and pounding on the front window. And I'm so happy that I'm a paranoid motherfucker and I keep everything locked when I'm home alone. I had all the windows locked, all the doors, all the blinds shut for the most part, besides my own bedroom blinds. But it was dark in there so they couldn't see. But dude, I'm so happy, because if I was dumb and I left any of that shit unlocked, they were trying to open stuff. I could hear them trying to pull on the windows and stuff. So they literally could have jumped right through and came inside my house and hurt us. But yeah, man, that 10 to 15 minute span where you're waiting for the cops and Jeremy was on the phone with them, it felt like an eternity, because I felt like at any given moment, one of them was going to get into my house and we were going to be seriously fucking hurt. And then I don't know, a minute later, these guys all hop in their fucking car and they drive off. No joke, a minute before the police pulled on my street and pull in my driveway, these guys were gone. It's they knew they were coming. Honestly, if I had to guess, that's probably why they hopped in the car and left. Maybe they heard sirens or something, but it's crazy that they had the timing so perfectly. These dudes pulled off my street, probably on the other end, as the same time the cops pulled down my street. It was just crazy. And the cops pulled up. They sent 4 cars. We went outside. We talked to them, told them everything that happened. This time, Jeremy was a little bit more honest with them. He didn't tell them that he was selling shrooms, but he did say that these guys were a dealer and his friends, and Jeremy told the cops that he owed this guy money. Jeremy didn't say why he owed him money, but the cops probably understood. But yeah, they were actually really cool about it, surprisingly. I thought they'd be a lot more weird about it and try and get Jeremy in trouble, but they were just kind of trying to figure out who these guys were and how to find them. Also, he was talking to the cops about how he called them out earlier to his house, and these were the same people. And he basically told the cops that he didn't tell them the whole truth earlier. And once again, they were cool about that too. Now after this, they sent cops to all the nearby major locations, the mall and anywhere nearby that these guys could be at. But no luck really with that. They didn't find him. And Jeremy had no idea where this dude lived, the dealer. He had no idea where he lived. He just knew the dude's name. his first name too, not even his last name. But Jeremy did have his phone number, and with the phone number, that told him a little bit more about the guy. Now, the whole rest of that day/night was very, like, just on edge, I would say. Like, everyone was super on edge. The cops could not find the dude. They, like, got an address through his phone number and checked it out, but he wasn't there. And, like, just, the dude was, like, on the run. It was crazy. Like, the dude and his friends were just on the run. But pretty much the whole night went by, and nothing really happened. It wasn't until the next day where things get even more interesting. So, they kept a police officer on my street pretty much the whole night, and one over by Jeremy's house. So, if they came back, they'd catch him, but they didn't come back. And the next morning rolled around, and we talked to the police again, and they still were having no luck. And I'm at a point where I'm just trying to, like, get back to living life, you know? Like, I don't want to be in the middle of this anymore. So I asked them, I'm like, can I just, like, have my friend here, Jeremy, go back to his house with his parents, and, like, I can just go back to being out of the way? And they were like, yeah, that's fine. He can go home if he wants. And he was completely down for that. And he wanted to be with his family anyway. But they did say they were going to have someone patrolling the street still for, like, pretty much the whole day and night, just for one more night to be safe. And that was fine by me, because I did not want those motherfuckers to pull up thinking Jeremy was at my house again. So, anyway, Jeremy ends up going home. The cops leave. I'm now at my house by myself. My other friend went home, by the way. Forgot to mention, my mom came home while the police were there that night, and I had to fill her in on what was going on. And she was pretty mad at me. I can't lie. Totally forgot to mention that. But she didn't ground me or anything. She knew it wasn't my fault. And she knew I was just trying to help my friend. But, you know, she was pretty upset. But anyway, yeah. Now it's just me, my mom, and my brothers at home. And I'm just going back to my normal life, right? I'm just making videos, playing video games, trying to not think about the craziness of the last few days, right? And like I said, they had a police car patrolling my street still. So, like, every 10 to 20 minutes, I would see this dude, like, drive by and, like, keep an eye on my house. And yeah, most of the day was pretty normal. I thought that it was finally over. I thought, like, you know, that drug dealer dude and his friends knew that the cops were involved now and that they would back off and that I would never see them again, and neither would Jeremy and his family. And I thought it was good, man. I thought it was done. That is until later that night rolled around. I was very wrong. It was not done. So about 9 or 10 o'clock rolls around, right? And I'm having a good night. Like, at this point, most of my anxiety is faded about the whole situation. I am playing CSGO on my PC. I have my window cracked. It's a nice summer night. I'm enjoying life, right? Now, like I said, I had my window open and my blinds were up. And while I was playing CS, I noticed something out of the corner of my eye. I noticed lights, pretty bright lights, like in the corner of my eye. And I heard, like, the sound of tires going up my driveway. Now, at first, I thought it was food that I ordered, because I had just ordered food, but, like, it had been way too fast. There was no way that was my food. So I looked to my left, and it is none other than a Honda CR-V sitting all four of those motherfuckers, bro. The same people. And they get out the car, and they start coming up to my window again. And this time, they see me in there. I had my light on, my window was open. Like, they saw me. And I immediately slammed the window and locked it. And I yelled to my mom in the other room. I was like, lock the fucking door. And she did. And luckily all the other windows were locked. And we're once again just in the house. And these people are trying to get in. And I'm once again having a fucking panic attack. My mom's freaking out. My brothers are freaking out. I feel terrible. And Jeremy isn't even there, by the way. And they're like banging on my window. They're like, where the fuck is he? Where is he? And I'm yelling back, he's not here. He's not here. And they don't believe me. And they're trying to, like, pound on the window and break it. And thank fuck, man, like, not even a minute or two later, that police car came around my block to patrol, and he saw them. And he pulled in immediately, jumped out his car, and had all of them sitting down on the curb within, like, 20 seconds. He had them all just sitting there. A couple of them were in cuffs, and then another cop pulled up, like, 5 minutes later and put the other ones in cuffs, and they had, like, everything locked down. It was nice. Like, and we were telling them, like, you know, they just pulled up and started banging on my window and started trying to get in the house looking for Jeremy, and I tried telling them, like, he's not there, but they didn't believe me and kept trying to get in. And yeah, we just basically told the cops what happened, right? Now, apparently, the dude, the main, like, drug dealer guy, the one that was, like, you know, the one looking for Jeremy, not his friends, but the main guy, he had a warrant out for his arrest already for some other shit. And he'd already been in jail before, apparently. So he was about to get locked up for a very long time. The rest of his friends, as far as I know, they weren't as, like, in deep shit as he was, but they also got in trouble. They literally assaulted Jeremy like 2 days prior because they jumped him, and then like they were trying to break into my house pretty much. So yeah, they also got in trouble. I'm not sure what the exact charges were, but they got in trouble. But yeah, essentially all those motherfuckers got arrested that night and like taken in. Now you're probably thinking that's the end of it, right? Like what else could possibly happen? Or, like, what else could unfold that would surprise me at this point? So throughout all of this, right, we didn't know how they knew Jeremy was at my house, right? Because like obviously, yeah, they knew where Jeremy lived and where Jeremy's house was because they knew Jeremy and they had to drop off like the shrooms to his house or whatever. But my house, where Jeremy was like hiding out at, there's no explanation as to why they knew where he was. And I just didn't get it. Like I said, he didn't have a fucking GPS tracker in his brain or something. Like, it's not like he was a dog. He wasn't chipped. So I just didn't understand how they knew where to find him on my street and like at my house specifically. And neither did the cops. Like literally the cops asked him that first time we called him over to my house and like talked to them, like how would they know that he was there? And we didn't have answers. And like, we just didn't get it, right? Well, after the cops arrested everybody and a couple days went by, Jeremy calls me up and he's like, bro, you're never going to guess what I just figured out. And I was like, what? And he goes, dude, before I say it, you're going to be mad at me. And I was like, I'm not going to be mad at you, bro. Just like, tell me. He goes, I figured out how they were tracking us down that night. Like how they knew that I was at your house and like how they knew where to go and like where you lived and that I was there. And I was like, okay, how did you figure that out? Like, what? Like, were they hacking you? Did they track your phone? Like, what happened? He's like, bro, they were tracking my phone. Now, when he said this, I thought he meant, like, they fucking had some crazy hacker motherfucker, like, install some shit on his phone, right? No. He was sharing his location with somebody. Not just anybody. So, apparently, to add, like, even more fuel to the fire, Jeremy was sleeping with the dealer's sister. Yeah, this drug dealer, I guess Jeremy knew him through this girl he was sleeping with, and he was sharing his location with her. So when the guy wanted to find Jeremy, when Jeremy was hiding, he just grabbed his sister's phone, got the address of his location, and drove over there. And from that point forward, I'm assuming he just guessed which house he was in, because, you know, even having someone's GPS, like, it won't usually take you to the exact point where they're at. It'll take you, like, very close to it, though. So, yeah, they probably just, like, drove over there to where the GPS told them to go, and then like, oh yeah, this house is the closest, let's just try and bang on this one. But yeah, I guess they guessed correctly. So after he told me this, I was like, yo, you didn't think to tell me that like you were banging a girl that was related to the drug dealer? Also, he told me that she was sharing a location too, because they were like kind of dating. Why wouldn't he tell the cops that, bro? Like, he could have told the cops, yeah, there's this girl I'm with, like, she's related to him, here's her location, they live together. And it would have been way easier to find him. And this dumb motherfucker, Jeremy, goes, it just didn't cross my mind. I'm like, how? How does that not cross your mind? He's like, I don't know, man. Like, I was just so overwhelmed, I didn't even think about it. And I was like, bro, you drive me fucking insane. And this brings me back to what I was saying very early on in the video. He just doesn't think sometimes, bro. Like, he just acts and doesn't think. I loved him to death, but he was a fucking stressful person to be around for that reason. And that leads me to my final and next point. Me and Jeremy fell out after this. We stopped being friends. For many reasons. One just being, every time I'd hang around him, I'd get into some fucking shit that I didn't want to be involved in. But, unfortunately, and this is the real finale here, the motherfucker robbed me, like, a week later. Yeah, he didn't, like, pull up on me and, like, rob me at gunpoint or something. But, like, a week later, I had a party at my house, and I caught him fucking stealing. He went into my mom's room, stole her jewelry, and then went into my office room and stole a bunch of my shoes. And I caught him doing it. I could probably make a whole other story about this, but, like, honestly, like, I'm just gonna put it in this, because it really is just one big fat fuck you cherry on top, right, to me. So, yeah, he ends up stealing my shoes and my mom's jewelry, and I caught him. I was in my room at this party, right, with this friend of mine. It was just me and her in my room, and we were just chilling, right? We weren't doing anything. We were just talking, hanging out. She wasn't feeling good, so I, like, let her come in my room to charge her phone and, like, chill out for a sec. And while we're there, in my bedroom, I look out my window into my driveway, and I see Jeremy loading up his car with stuff that belongs to me. I saw him bring out my mom's jewelry box. I saw him bring out some Nike boxes that were shoes from my office downstairs. And I remember this friend of mine, this girl, she goes, is he robbing you right now? And I was like, yeah, I'll be right back. And I stood up, I walked outside. As he was getting in his car, I opened his door, and I was like, what the fuck do you think you're doing? He's like, oh, hey man, yeah, I'm just going home. I don't feel very good. I was like, oh, what do you feel? He's like, just sick to my stomach. I was like, okay, did you like smoke or something? Drink anything? Like, are you okay? He's morning and it's just only gotten worse. And I go, yeah, you know what a really good remedy for the stomach flu is? He's like, what? I was like, you know, like rest and drinking plenty of fluids and making sure you can keep water down and that kind of stuff. You know what isn't a good remedy for the stomach flu? He's like, what? I'm like, stealing your fucking best friend's shit. And his face immediately like just dropped. And I was like, yeah, dude, what the fuck is in the back seat? And I pointed at the back seat and he's like, oh, that's nothing, bro. That's just my stuff. And I was like, nah, bro, I saw you loading your car up. Open the fucking door. And he unlocked the back door. I opened it. Sure enough, dude, Nike boxes, my mom's jewelry box, even more shit that I didn't even see was back there. And I start unloading it. And I was like, yo, I never want to fucking talk to you again. Like, I thought you were my homie. I just was in one of the craziest situations of my life with you. And I thought that was like, you know, a testament to our friendship. But nah, man, apparently it's fuck me. He's like, no, man, like, I don't want you to think that. Like, bro, I fucking love you, bro. Like, you're always gonna be my brother for life. I was like, yeah, dude, like, brothers don't rob each other. You know that, right? He's like, dude, like, no, it's not what you think. It's not what you think. And I was like, motherfucker, what is it then? You're stealing from my mom and me. So what is it? And he just couldn't say shit. There was no explanation, bro. He was stealing from me. And, dude, it really does, like, hurt to think and talk about. Because, like, bro, me and him were friends for so long prior to this, dude. Like, this motherfucker I met in middle school. We were friends for years and, like, hung out all the time. And our moms knew each other. And, like, I'd sleep at his house all the time. He'd sleep at my house all the time. And we'd spend birthdays together. Motherfucker, we went on vacation together. Our families went on vacation together once. Like, to have someone like that turn around and backstab you after going through one of the craziest weeks of your life with them is nuts. Like, truly. It's probably the most backstabbed I've ever felt. Like, I've dealt with being backstabbed by friends before and girlfriends and a lot of people, man. Like, but dude, I was hiding my boy from a dangerous drug dealer and he still turned around and fucking stole from me less than 2 weeks later. Yeah, man. Crazy shit. And really is just the shit cherry on top, bro. Like, I thought it couldn't get any worse. I thought my life was going to be so boring for the next few months, but nah, dude. Already had something happen. But yeah, man, that is pretty much where it ended. I cut him off, we stopped being friends, and I was over it. Also, my other friends cut him off because obviously if he was willing to rob me, they'd probably not want him around their houses either. So he lost more than me, man. He lost a couple other friends of ours. But yeah, dude, really shitty. Now, I would say moral of the story is don't steal from people, but there's like a million morals to this story. The moral of the story is don't steal from people, don't sell drugs, what else? Don't do any of the stuff that Mr. Jeremy did in this story. If you ever find yourself in a situation similar, just call the fucking cops, man. It ain't worth trying to act tough. But yeah, man, this was overall like one of the craziest weeks of my entire life, and it's one of my favorite stories to tell. And I'm happy I'm finally bringing it to you guys today. This is, I think, the longest story on my entire channel. I'm sorry it didn't hit an hour exactly. I thought it would just because I usually tell this story to my friends and it takes quite a while, but I don't know. For some reason, it's only 45 minutes. I'm also sorry it took me a while to upload this. This was supposed to be up on Saturday or Sunday, but I underestimated how long it was going to take me to record this. It took me like a few days to do this just because I kept getting interrupted by a bunch of personal life shit, but I'm finally bringing it to you and I hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed this long story and you want more videos like this long, because this is long, this is longer than usual, this is like almost an hour, man. Leave a like on the video and I will do more of them. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below and subscribe if you're new. I will see you all later. Peace.
Whether you're a professional or just love getting hands-on with your home projects, Harbor Freight offers quality hand tools backed by a lifetime guarantee. Harbor Freight, your hand tools destination.
The gym teacher was a bigger dude and he could actually handle breaking them up and the rest of us couldn't. So they get broken up Luckily, you know, even though they did some damage on each other, no one was like seriously injured. And I remember like at the end of the day after that, I was just like, dude, what the hell? What a way to end the day. Like I was just chilling, enjoying my, you know, thought of going home and playing some video games and maybe hanging out with David and Justin. But then I had to see two people beat the shit out of each other out of nowhere. Definitely was not on my my bingo card for the day. Did not expect to see that. What was that boomer ass shit I just said? It wasn't on my bingo card for the day. What the fuck? What am I, 80 years old? I'm leaving that in, bro. That was so corny. It's almost as bad as like unironically saying geez Louise or something. Anyway, back to the story. So after that fight gets broken up, after the day is officially over, I walk to my locker, I grab my backpack, and I start heading towards the bus. And while I'm going towards the bus, I hear two people yell my name behind me. And I turn around, and it's Justin and David. And Justin runs up to me. He's like, yo, are you coming over tonight? I heard that David invited you. And I was like, yeah, man, I would love to. Like, if I'm invited, I would definitely try and pull up. He's like, yeah, dude, come through. Like, we're going to go into the woods and, like, have a bonfire. Now, I had never done this with them before, and I was like, what? The woods? Bonfire? Like, what are you talking about? And Justin's like, yeah, man, if you go behind my house and, like, go into those woods that are, like, farther back, if you go deep enough, there's, like, an area where, like, people have fires and stuff. I'm not sure who it belongs to, but we've used it a bunch of times. And I was like, oh, okay, sounds cool. He's like, all right, cool, so you're coming? I was like, yeah, I gotta go home and ask my mom and shit, but, like, I think she'll be okay with it. She likes you. She likes your mom. He's like, all right, cool. So after that, I dap them both up. I go outside, I get on my bus, and I start telling all my friends on the bus about that crazy fight I just saw. And we're just like, you know, all riding home, excited because the weekend's starting and, you know, school's out and things are good, right? Life is good. Well, I get home, I go inside. My mom was not home from work yet, so I had to call her. And I was like, hey, Mom, like, can I sleep over at Justin's house tonight? And she was like, I don't know, can you? And I was like, I don't know, that's why I'm asking you. And she's like, well, you can if you get your stuff done for the day. Have you done all your stuff? And I was like, what stuff? And she goes, are you serious, Austin? Like, how many times do I have to tell you? And I was like, okay, what is it? And she was like, you gotta clean your room, you gotta do the laundry, you gotta clean the living room floor, you gotta Swiffer it, you gotta walk the dogs. I'm like, okay. So I hang up with her, I go do all of that, very well, might I add. I was in cleaning mode, I did great. I call her back, and I was like, okay, I did it, can I go? She's like, sure. When I get home, I'll make sure you did everything, and as long as it looks good, like, I'll take you. I'm like, awesome.
I am stuck on Band-Aid brand cause Band-Aid stuck on me.
Pause for the facts. Classic first-timers. They don't know that nearly half of all used cars have been in an accident. But Carfax shows how accidents impact price, so they don't have to overpay. Unpause.
Ooh, I like no accidents.
Shop the all-new Carfax.com.
Kids like us live online, but so do traffickers. Not everyone online is a friend. Talk to your parents about human trafficking and staying safe online.
So fast forward like an hour later, I was actually on Xbox with David and Justin, just playing COD. And David was about to leave to go there to Justin's house, and I was still waiting for my mom to come home. And I told them that, you know, I was probably coming. And it was cool, man. Like I said, life was good. So another 30 minutes goes by, and my mom gets home, and immediately I, like, you know, walked her through all the things I did, and she was like, yeah, this looks really good. Like, good job. Thank you. And then she asked me when I want to leave. And I was like, can we leave in, like, 10 minutes? And she's like, sure. So I run back in my room. I tell Justin, I was like, yo, I'm on my way. And he's like, all right, cool. David just left. I'm like, sweet. So I pack my stuff really quick, and I jump in the car with my mom, and she starts giving me a ride to Justin's house. And while we're on the way there, she was like, what are you guys going to do? And I was like, probably the same thing we always do. Just, like, hang out at his house, maybe walk to the store, get some food, play some video games, nothing crazy. She was like, all right, well, stay out of trouble, please. And I was like, don't worry, I will. Little did I know, I was about to get in some of the most trouble I've ever been in my entire life. I had no idea what the night had in store. And I don't think anyone did, to be honest. So we pull up to Justin's house. I get out of the car. My mom gets out of the car. She walks me inside. She says hi to Justin's mom. You know, they chat for a little bit. Me and Justin go downstairs to the basement. David was already down there. And we're all just hanging out down there, listening to music, talking. And, like, a couple minutes later, I hear footsteps coming down the basement stairs. And it's my mom and Justin's mom. And my mom goes, hey, Austin, you didn't tell me you're having a fire tonight. And I was like, oh, I completely forgot. I'm sorry. And she was like, yeah, just be careful, please. Don't try and do anything yourself. Let Justin do it. He usually does this, so let him do it. And I was like, all right, I will. Don't worry. Definitely sounded like my mom didn't trust me around trying to start a fire, which, you know, I can't blame her, because, well, you guys have heard about it on this channel. I have quite a few stories about fire and how it's gone wrong. Before I continue, don't play with fire, please. Never, ever play with fire. It is not a toy, okay? Anyway, back to the story. So after that, my mom ends up leaving. She says goodbye to everyone. She leaves, and Justin's mom goes back upstairs with her, and we just start hanging out. Me, David, Justin, we're downstairs. We're playing video games. We're listening to music. We're hanging out, right? And we all get pretty hungry pretty quick. So we decide to leave the house. We go into the store up the street. We told his mom we were leaving. We go to the store that sells like sandwiches and pizza and stuff. We go there, eat some food. And while we were there, another fight broke out on this day. We're sitting there, right? And this guy comes in, probably a homeless dude. There was a good amount of homeless people that hung out at this store because the food was like good priced. And yeah, this guy comes in and he starts demanding a free sandwich from like the store clerk. And the dude's like, I'm not giving you a free sandwich. Like, you gotta pay for it, man. And the other dude's like, well, you said you'd give me a free one last time we talked. And the store clerk's like, I never said that. I literally have no idea who you're talking about because it wasn't me. And this dude's like, man, fuck you. And he like starts trying to go behind the counter and make himself a sandwich. And the clerk's like pushing him, right? Getting him out of the fucking like behind counter area. And the homeless guys push him back and they start throwing hands. And like, we're the only people in the store, keep in mind, just some kids. So like, we're not going to try and break it up. Now, luckily the store clerk was, you know, smart and didn't like just beat him to oblivion. He just like threw a couple punches, got him out of the counter area, and then like shoved him out the door and slammed the door and locked it. So the fight didn't last very long. And immediately after he did that, he turned around to us. He's like, guys, I'm so sorry you had to see that. Like, maniac. And he gets on the phone and he starts calling 911. And I'm just sitting there like, yo, what is going on today? Like, do I attract fights or something? And I looked over at Justin and I was like, dude, that's the second fight I've seen today. He's like, shit, dude, you're bad luck. And I was like, I guess so. And then he's like, well, hopefully your bad luck's out for the day. Hopefully, you know, it's only good luck from here on out. And I was like, yeah, man, hopefully. Little did I know, once again, we were about to have a crazy night in store. So after that fight was over and the guy was outside pounding on the door with the door locked and the clerk was on the phone with the police, we had to like sit there and wait for the cops to come to get the guy away from the front of the store and essentially like put him in cuffs so we could leave. That's what we did. We ended up leaving after that and we just walked home. And we get back to Justin's house. And at this point, the sun's setting, it's like pretty much nighttime, and it's time to go out and have that fire. And I was excited, man. I love bonfires. Like, bonfires are some of my favorite things to do any time of the year, because it's just fun sitting around the fire with your friends, toasting marshmallows and shit, making s'mores. Even if you're not doing that, it's still fun to sit around the fire and, like, keep warm and hang out, man. It's just a good time. So I was excited. So we all start getting ready. Justin asked me and David to go grab some more stuff from the kitchen. He told us where it was. We go up there. We're grabbing the stuff. Justin goes upstairs. He goes outside of the back shed. He grabs a little canister of gasoline. And then we go outside with the s'more stuff. And I saw him holding the gas can. And I was like, do you use that to start the fire? He's like, yeah. And I was like, do you always do that? Like, is your mom cool with it? He's like, yeah, man, I know what I'm doing. I'm like, okay. And I didn't question it. We just wandered into the woods. And we went to this, like, bonfire spot. Now, he didn't tell me, but this little, like, fire pit area, whatever, it was, like, right next to my old elementary school. Like, right there. It wasn't, like, directly next to it, but it was, like, probably 20 feet away. Like, if you just went into the woods behind my elementary school, the fire pit's right there. And I remember being like, yo, that's, like, really close to the school. Like, is this not school property? And Justin's like, I mean, it might be, but we've never gotten in trouble, and people use this all the time. And I was like, okay. So he had some wood already there, like on the side. I think he put it there earlier in the day or something, or someone else did. I have no idea how it got there. But he starts putting the wood in the fire pit. He puts a little bit of gas on it, lights a match, throws it in there. Fire starts instantly, obviously, because he lit it with gasoline. And we're all just sitting there around the fire, chilling, right? Started off very normal, very calm, very good, right? And about 30 minutes later, we start making s'mores, and we're hanging out, right? Fire's still going strong. He keeps adding wood to it and stuff. Then about 10 minutes later, the fire starts to die down a little bit. And I see Justin stand up and grab the gas can. Now, adding gas to a live fire is really stupid. Never do that, okay? Never fucking do that. It's dumb. It can backfire so quick. And I said something about it. I was like, yo, don't do that, bro. Like, I've experienced it firsthand. It is not a good idea. And he's like, oh, I do it all the time, bro. Trust me. And he like stands kind of far away and he like throws a little bit of gas on it. And he hits it perfectly and the fire goes up and like he doesn't mess it up. But still, like I said, it could go wrong very easily. So I thought that was stupid of him to do. But he puts the can back down, he sits back down, and me and David kind of look at each other like, all right, whatever, right? So after that, we're just chilling around the fire again. About another 30 minutes goes by, right? And it starts to die down again. And Justin's eating a s'more, and he has like marshmallow all over his hands, and he's like, you know, he's not in the mood to stand up. And he goes, yo, Austin, can you add some gas to the fire? And I was like, nah, I'm not doing that, bro. Like, no, I'm not doing that. And he's like, all right, David, can you? And David's like, I've never done that before. And Justin's like, bro, you literally just put a little bit on there and then put the can down. He's like, all right. So he grabs it, right? And he goes to pour it on the fire, and he pours way too much, and the flames go really fucking high, like almost in his face, and he jumps backwards and drops the gas can. And when he did that, some of the gas spilled on the edge of the fire pit, on the outer part of the fire pit as well, and it lit a branch with leaves on it on fire right next to the gas can. And of course, this freaked me out because there's fire right next to a gas can, like literally inches away. And it freaked everybody else out too because Justin immediately starts yelling, move it, move it. So I grabbed the branch that was on fire, burned the fuck out of my hand, by the way, and I threw it. I threw it as far as I could away from us because I didn't want to, have it light the gas can on fire. Now looking back, that was very stupid of me because I could have just put it in the fire, like the fire pit, and it would have just been more firewood. But I threw it, and it landed right on a pile of dried, dead leaves. And that pile of dried, dead leaves was also right next to a bunch of cut down old trees. So immediately, these leaves just go up in flames, right? Big pile of fire. And then that catches the tree trunks on fire. And I turn around and I see David and Justin looking at me like, oh, we're fucked. And let me tell you, we were 125% fucked. This flame spread so quick and so large. Like, it was out of our control within like 10 seconds. Like, we were not going to be able to put that out by ourselves. We had no water supply, no hose. It's not one of those fires you just stomp out. Like, this was bad. And it was catching all these, like, dead old tree trunks on fire that were in a pile. And it was spreading to a nearby tree that hung over the elementary school. Like, it was leaning, and the way that it was growing, like, yeah, it hung just over the elementary school roof. And naturally, I'm terrified, and so is everybody else. And David immediately goes, yo, fuck it, let's bail. And he starts running full speed back towards Justin's house. And me and Justin are just stood there watching this fire get bigger and bigger. Essentially just started a forest fire. And we're staring at each other just completely speechless. I did not know what to do. Well, let me correct myself. I knew what to do, but I was scared to do it. Obviously, in this situation, you call 911. You call the fire department. I was terrified because I didn't want to have to call 911 and be like, hey, guys, I started a forest fire. It might spread to the school nearby. Can you come help? Like, I didn't want to get thrown in jail. I was terrified, right? And Justin was also terrified, and so was David, because we all had a role in this, Like, Justin brought the gas. David threw the gas in the fire. He dropped the can. It spread to that branch thing. I threw the branch to try and keep it away from the gas. And then this whole thing started. It was like a chain reaction of stupidity, right? So naturally, we're both standing there completely just stood still, like not knowing what the fuck to do. And then Justin yells, yo, like, should we just call the cops? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, all right, bet. And I go to pull up on my phone, and it's fucking dead. It's dead, dude. I can't even believe it. Like, I did not know I was that low on battery, but I guess I was. And I was like, yo, my phone's dead. Use yours. And he goes, I don't have mine. I left it at the house. And I was like, what? Are you fucking kidding me? So now we had to run back through the woods, grab Justin's phone, and then run back through the woods to see how much it spread while we were calling 911. And I'm not going to lie, that shit spread quite a bit. It was so bad. And at this point, the tree that was like above the school was drooping over, and pieces of branch and leaves falling down that were on fire were landing on the school. And there was this tall grass right next to the school that like leaned right up against the brick that also caught fire and was like leaning up against the brick wall, just, burning it. And I was like, Justin, the fucking school's on fire, man, fuck. And he's like, I'm on the phone with 911, don't worry. And he's telling them about what's going on. Meanwhile, David is just standing there. He came back to the school with us to like see what was going on when we grabbed Justin's phone, and he's just standing there, right, saying nothing. And we just had to stand there and wait. And Justin's just on the phone with 911, and we're standing there watching this fire engulf trees and literally spreading to a school, and we're just like, dude, this is horrible. Like, I literally thought it was over, dude. I thought I was going to jail for a long time after this, because like, you know, it's a royally big fuck up, right? So fast forward like 10 minutes or so, the fire department pulls up, like 3 trucks pulled up, a cop car, and immediately the fire department gets to work. They're spraying the grass and the roof of the school, getting that, you know, dealt with. Luckily, that wasn't too big of a fire. It was mainly the tree that was hanging over it and the nearby trees. If I had to count, the biggest fire was the dead tree trunks that were cut down in a pile. That was like the biggest fire. And then there was like 3 or 4 nearby trees that it spread to. So they got the fire near the school, and like that was touching the school, you know, out pretty quick. And then they moved their attention to the big one. And they got it dealt with really fast, I will say. Like, they were very quick. Meanwhile, while they're doing that, one of the cops walks up to us, and he goes, all right, so what happened here, guys? Like, what the hell's going on? Did you guys start this? Because on the phone, Justin didn't say that we started it. He just said, there's a fire at the school and by the woods. And the operator asked him, like, if he knew how it happened or whatever. And on the phone, he just said no. So when the first responders showed up, they wanted answers, obviously. The cop did, at least. And after he asked Justin, like, if we started it, we all just kind of went silent. Because, like, we didn't know what to say. I wanted to say, like, it was us, because I knew if we lied, they were just going to find out regardless. I mean, there was literally a gas can that literally had David and Justin's fingerprints on it right by the fire pit. By the way, forgot to mention, when the fire was, like, spreading, we moved that farther away from where the fire was. But it's not like we moved it back to Justin's house, you know? So, like, it was still there in the woods, and they were going to see it, and they were going to probably be like, oh, this probably started it. So I didn't want to lie to them, right? But it was too late, because David spoke up, and he went, no, officer, we didn't start it. We don't know how it started. We just came out here to go for a walk, and we saw the fire. And immediately, you could see it on both of our faces, me and Justin. We were both like, oh, shit. Like, our faces looked like, oh, man, why would you say that? And the cop goes, really? Like, you guys had nothing to do with this? And David goes, no, officer. And he goes, okay, so when we look around and we start doing our investigation, we're not going to find anything that ties back to you guys at all. And David goes, no, not at all. And Justin's like, Justin looks so mad, bro. Like, he looked pissed. And I'm just like standing there. And the cop goes, where are your guys' parents at? Where do you live? And I was like, I live pretty far from here. I got dropped off to sleep over at his house. And I pointed to Justin. And he looks at Justin. And he's like, where do you live, buddy? And Justin goes, just literally back there through those woods. Like, literally my house is in walking distance. And the cop goes, all right, well, go get your mom. I want to talk to an adult. And he goes, okay. And he walks back into the woods, shitting himself. I could see it on his face, because he knew he was about to get caught. Because the minute he got his mom, and his mom got out there, she was going to see the absolute carnage that the fucking fire did. And we were the only people that had a fire, so it was going to be our fault, obviously. So she comes out with him, right? Like 10 minutes later, and they walk back to the school area where we're standing. And she goes, oh my, what did you guys do? And the cop goes, oh, they did this? And she goes, yeah, they were having a bonfire back here. It must be from them. And the cop looks at David and goes, I thought you had nothing to do with this, buddy. And David goes, I'm sorry, I just didn't want to go to jail. And he starts crying. And I'm just standing there like, oh my, like, we're fucked, bro. This is so bad. Now, at this point, they get the fire completely out, right? Like, it's gone. It's just smoke everywhere, but it's fine. It's out. And people from the school start pulling up. Like, these 2 ladies pulled up. One of them was someone I'd never seen before, but the other one was the elementary school principal. I know that because it's the same exact principal that I had when I was there. And when she walked up and they were like talking to the police about what happened, and the police were like telling them that it was our fault, the lady looked at me, the principal, and she recognized me. She goes, I know you. You went here, didn't you? And I was like, yes, I did. My name's Austin. And I said my last name. And she was like, oh my gosh, like, how have you been? And I was like, good, other than tonight. And she goes, what happened? Like, what'd you do? And I was like, this was not intentional, I promise. Like, I promise. And I had to essentially explain to this principal that, you know, we weren't trying to intentionally burn down her school. Imagine running into your old principal on the circumstances that you are accidentally lighting her school on fire. Like, horrible way to run into an old principal, especially one that you liked. She was so cool, such a nice, sweet lady. Like, I felt so bad. I felt so fucking bad. But luckily, she was being very nice to us, and she understood it was an accident, even though she was disappointed. And the cop goes, yeah, what happened? And he looked at us. And once again, we all go silent. Because, like, I didn't know what to say. No one really knew what to say. And the cop goes, don't go silent now. Like, come on, someone speak up. And Justin spoke up. Justin was like, all right, look, we had a bonfire in this little fire pit that's not far from the school in the woods right over there. He pointed to it. And he's like, essentially, I asked my friend here to add gas to the fire, and he didn't do it correctly, and it kind of spilled a little bit, like, outside the fire pit, and he dropped it because the flames got really high, and there was this branch that was on fire right next to the gas can, so Austin over here threw the branch, and it spread the fire more, and that's how it started. And, like, 5 feet away from us was one of the firefighters, like, one of the main ones, whatever, and he's like, you don't add gas to a live fire, like, come on, you guys gotta know that. And we're all just like, yeah, we know. And we just ended up getting, like, chewed out by the cop and by the fire department, and just completely cooked, basically, no pun intended. And I remember, like, after they got done ranting to us about how stupid that was, the cop looked at all of us, and he was like, you guys are in a lot of trouble. I hope you know that. You're in a lot of trouble. And David goes, are we going to juvie? And the cop goes, I don't know yet. We'll see. And then I really kind of shit myself. I'm like, oh, fuck, man. Like, we're really about to get in a shit ton of trouble. Like, this is not going to be one of those situations where we get let off because we're kids. Like, we're really about to get, like, treated as adults. This is going to suck. And I remember the cop, the fire department, his mom, Justin's mom, these, like, school faculty members, they're all just staring at us with, like, the most insane disappointment I've ever seen in my life. And I was just like, dude, this is bad. This is so bad. Anyway, after, like, 20 more minutes of them just kind of, like, standing around and talking to each other and, you know, doing whatever, right? Cleaning up and stuff like that. Also, by the way, I forgot to mention, the fire department took the gas can and they, like, brought that back to Justin's house or something. I can't remember, but they got rid of it. So we're all standing there, and Justin's mom jumps on the phone and starts calling up all of our parents and telling them what we did. And I remember, like, she called David's mom first, and, like, David's mom, you couldn't really hear anything because, you know, she had the phone up to her ear. And then she called my mom. I could hear my mom yelling at me through the phone, not even on speaker. Keep in mind, we were outside, and, like, there was water getting shot out of hoses and, like, people talking and stuff, and I could still hear her, not even on speakerphone, yelling at me through Justin's mom's phone. I heard her literally say, damn it, Austin, like, why? Why would you do that? And right when she did that, Justin's mom handed me the phone, and she's like, I think your mom wants to talk to you. And I grabbed it, and I was like, hi, Mom. And she's like, I'm on my way there right now. I'll talk to you when I'm there. She hangs up. And, yeah, she pulled up like 5-10 minutes later, and I got yelled at again by my mom, and it was so shitty, dude. It was just so shitty. I was like, this is so bad. Anyway, after my mom got there, and then David's mom got there, all of our moms and the fire department and the police went, like, farther away from us, so we couldn't hear them. And I'm assuming they were talking about the punishment of what was going to happen to us. And me, David, and Justin are just in a circle freaking out because we know that we're about to be told our fate, you know? And about 10 minutes later, just our moms come over to us. And they're like, all right, let's go. Get in the car. I'm like, what? And my mom's like, come on, we're going home. And I was like, I'm going home? Like I'm not going to jail? And she goes, get in the car, Austin. And I was like, okay. So I follow my mom to the car, and David follows his mom to the car, and Justin follows his mom back towards, like, the house or whatever. And I'm like, what the hell's going on right now? Like, did we really just get away with that? Like, what? And I remember the whole way home, I kept asking my mom. I was like, Mom, like, what'd you talk to the police about? And she's like, nothing. And I was like, it can't be nothing. Like, you were talking to them for a while. And she's like, Austin, they were just talking about, like, what to do about it, all right? Like, you're a minor. They're not going to throw you in jail. So they were giving me options. I was like, what was the options? Like, what are they going to do to me? And she's like, nothing. How many times do I have to say it? Like, nothing. And I was just being annoying. I was like, well, you just said you were talking about options. Like, what were the options? She's like, why does it matter? We're not doing them. So why does it matter? And I was like, all right, sorry. She takes me home. She doesn't ground me or anything. Doesn't take my Xbox. Doesn't take anything. It was scary how little was happening, right? Like, I thought I was about to go home, and she was about to light all of my stuff on fire in front of me. Like, I thought she was about to, like, literally open up my Xbox and pour milk into it. Like, I really did not think I was going to, like, just get let off the hook like this. And she goes, go to bed. I was like, okay. So I went into my room, I laid down, I put on some Jersey Shore, I was watching some TV on my Xbox, and I get a text message from Justin, and he said, dude, like, I think we got away with that. And I responded, and I was like, what do you mean? He said, bro, my mom didn't ground me or anything, like, we just went home, and she's just disappointed, but I didn't get in trouble. And I was like, bro, same. And he's like, let me ask David what his mom did. And then David said the same thing. So now we're all kind of scared because it's like, dude, this is suspicious. Like, why are we not getting in trouble for literally starting a forest fire and kind of partially lighting a school on fire? Like, this isn't good. Like, this is really bad. What's going on here? Why are we home right now? I'm not saying I wanted to go to jail or anything. That's not what I'm saying at all. I just couldn't believe we weren't in juvie. You know what I mean? Like, I just couldn't believe it. So anyway, the rest of that night, I just like watched Jersey Shore, and I hung out in my room. I remember my dad called me at one point, like right before I fell asleep, and he asked me like what the hell happened, and we had like a long talk about it, and he essentially was just, you know, telling me I need to like make better decisions and to not ever do that again, and he was just, you know, being my dad, right? And after that, I hung up with him, and I fell asleep, right? I fell asleep, and I woke up the next morning to my mom waking me up, and she goes, come on, we gotta go. Now, it was Saturday, so like, where are we going on Saturday? Like, what's going on? And she goes, you'll see. And now I knew I was fucked. Now I was like, oh, okay. They had a plan. They had a plan, and they weren't telling us about it. Now we are screwed. Like, this is where the punishment begins. And my mom went to Justin's house, picked Justin up, and then went to David's house and picked David up. And we were all in my mom's car, driving to some random destination that none of us knew. And I was like, yo, where are we going? And she was like, you'll see. You'll all see. It was so evil, so devious, so, like, tactical. Like, I couldn't believe it, man. Like, the moms really did good at planning this, right? So we drive for about 20 minutes, right? And we pull into this giant, like, parking lot of this huge, creepy, gray, just huge building, right? Creepy looking building. And it's, like, surrounded by a fence that's super tall. Kind of looked like the building from Stranger Things, not gonna lie. It looked like it could be one of three things. A hospital, an old, like, factory or something, or a prison. And as we got closer, and I saw the front, I saw a sign that said Blank County Jail. And I was like, oh, we're going to jail. Okay, that's what's happening here. Cool. The police were nice enough to let us have one more night at home, and now we're going to jail. Awesome. I remember me, Justin, and David all looked at each other and just started shitting ourselves. Like, we were like, our faces, I wish I had a picture of it. Like, we all looked terrified. I looked at my mom and I was like, are we going to jail? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, what? They let you take us to jail? Why didn't they take us yesterday? And she's like, I don't know, but you're going today. And I was like, what? For how long? And she's like, we'll see. So what do you mean we'll see? Like, they didn't tell you? She's like, no. And I was like, what? And she's like, get out of the car, come on. And she parks the car, and we get out, and she walks us to the door, and this, like, lady opens the door, and she's like, oh, hi, like, you must be, and she says my mom's name, and my mom's talking to her, smiling, and she goes, and you must be Austin, and she points to me, and she's like, and you must be David and Justin, right? And they're like, yeah. And she goes, all right, come on in. And she brings us inside. My mom goes, bye, guys, and she turns around, she leaves, just doesn't hug me, doesn't say anything, just leaves, bro. It leaves me with this lady, with my friends, and we're just now in the jail building. My mom left, and we're just there with this lady. And I asked her, I was like, what's going on? Like, are we, like, getting put in jail today? And she's like, kinda, yeah. And I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, look, what you guys did, I heard about it. Messed up. Super messed up. And you can't just get away with it with a slap on the wrist. So your parents signed you up for this. I was like, signed up for what? And essentially, they signed us up for a fucking week-long program where we had to go to prison every day, essentially, and be there from, like, day till night and, like, do things that prisoners do. Well, not everything, but everything that you hear about, such as community service, going to the cafeteria, going to a cell, cleaning, doing chores, and then also we had to hang out with the inmates because that was like a part of it. It was essentially like that show, Beyond Scared Straight, if y'all have ever seen that. I don't even know if it's still on or not, where they send kids to, like, jail and, like, let them see how horrible it is. That's what it was, basically, for a week. And let me tell you, that shit was ass. The first day, we spent just kind of, like, getting a tour of the place and kind of, like, meeting some people and seeing, like, how, you know, that was. But the second day is when, like, I do community service and shit, and they, like, let me essentially meet other prisoners, and, like, they told the prisoners about what we did, because when I was out there doing community service, there was this one guy, all right? His name was Lewis. He was terrifying looking. He was, like, 6'4", super buff, had, like, a whole-ass face tattoo on his left side. It looked like Mike Tyson, dude. It was terrifying. And he walks up to me while I'm doing this fucking community service, like, picking up trash on the side of the road, and he goes, "Are you Austin?" And I was like, "Yeah. How do you know my name?" And he goes, "I heard about what you did. Lisa told me." And Lisa was the girl that, like, ran the program. She was the one that said hi to my mom when we walked in on the first day. He goes, "Yeah, Lisa told me." And I was like, "Okay, what'd she tell you?" He goes, "You tried to burn down a school?" And I was like, "No, I didn't try and burn down a school." He goes, "An elementary school? That's fucked up, man. That's fucked up." And I, like, awkwardly laughed, and I was like, "I didn't try and burn down a school." And he's like, "Why are you laughing? You think this shit's funny? You think it's funny? Burn down a school is funny?" And he's getting up in my face. And I look over at, like, the, one of the fucking cops or whatever that's, like, you know, guiding us for the community service. And, like, I'm looking at him like, "Yo, get this guy out of here. Like, he's about to beat me up." And the cop just, like, crosses his arms and watches. And I was like, "Really, dude? Like, you're not going to help me?" And the cop goes, "You're fine." I look back over at fucking Lewis, and I was like, "Dude, I didn't try and burn the school down intentionally. It was an accident." He goes, "Yeah, well, you accidentally almost burned down an elementary school. It's fucked up." And then he said some just insane shit. He must have gone off script. Like, I'm assuming that the police put him up to this or something to try and scare me and make me realize that jail's not a fun place. But, like, he must have gone off script for this part. He goes, "How would you like it that if when I got out of here, I burn your house down?" And I was like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, how would you like that? When I get out of here, I might pay you a visit." And I was like, "Please don't pay me a visit, Lewis. I would really prefer if you didn't do that." And he gives me this crazy look in his eye, and he goes, "Yeah, we'll see. We'll see." And I was like, "Okay." I looked over at the cop, and the cop's still looking at me with his arms crossed, and I was like, what's up with that, man? Did you hear what he just said to me?" And the cop's like, "No." I'm like, "Okay." I just went back to do the community service. By the way, they split us up. So on this day, David and Justin weren't even with me. They were doing something else, and they were cleaning or something. So I was alone out there. Like, didn't even have my friends to talk to about it. I was just scared and alone. Anyway, after that day, then we went on to the next day, where it was just me cleaning, and they were outside doing community service. Yeah, they let them do it together on the next day, but I had to get split up. I don't understand. It was mean. Anyway, yeah, I had to clean that day, and then when lunchtime came around, they let me and David and Justin sit together on this day. Don't know why, don't know what changed, but we had to sit together, and we sat at a table with that Lisa woman, and then there was 2 inmates with us as well, like, sitting there. And once again, I think they, like, put them up to this, but they started pressing us super hard. One of the dudes was just like, "So you guys like being in here? You having fun so far?" And we're like, "No." And he goes, "Yeah, it's not fucking fun. So maybe you should think twice before trying to burn down a school." And once again, I was like, "Dude, we didn't try and burn down the school. Like, it was an accident." I actually could not believe that there was a rumor spreading around this prison that we tried to burn down the school intentionally. Anyway, I was like, "We didn't try and burn it down. It was an accident." And he goes, "Yeah, well, if you play with fire, you get burned." And I was like, "Yeah, I mean, true." And he's like, "Yeah, so don't do that anymore, but you might just end up one of our cellmates." And I was like, "Noted. Yes, I will not do that. Don't worry." He's like, "Good." And yeah, after this, I just spent the next few days, like, going through this, just counting the days where it was over, because it was a week long. It was 7 days. And just, like, counting the hours to go home and sleep, because that was the only time I got to go home. It was at the end of the night, like, super late. We got to go home, sleep, and then wake right back up in the morning and go back there. So, like, literally that 8 hours in my bed was the only, like, freedom I had, which I guess it's better than sleeping in the prison, but still. So on the last day, right, I made it through the week. It was the last day. After, like, that third day, nothing too crazy had happened. Like I said, I just went there, I did what I had to do, and I'd go home. There was the occasional, like, prisoner talking to me that they would have talk to me and kind of try and scare me off the path I was on. But nothing too crazy had happened, right? But on the last day, I got up in the morning, I got ready. Once again, we're all in the car on the way there. And I thought that this day would be the easiest because, like, all right, you know, it's the last day. We're kind of in the swing of things by now. Like, you know, we know what we're doing. Like, we'll just go there. We'll do some cleaning, maybe some community service, eat our lunch at the cafeteria. At some point, we'll probably have to, like, go to a class and get talked to for a little bit by one of, like, the former inmates because that's what they were doing every day. At some point throughout the day, every day, we'd have to go to a classroom, and there was, like, an hour or two where this guy would come in that was, like, a previous inmate there, and he would, like, speak about how, you know, jail's not cool, and to, like, get off the path that we were on and shit like that. And they'd have, like, actual inmates come in, too, and talk. So I assumed it was just going to be like any other day, right? And it started off like any other day. We got there, and we went in, and they had me clean at one point, and they had my friends outside doing whatever, I don't know. And then, eventually, it was time for that class that I was mentioning, right? And we go in there, we sit down, and they didn't let me and my friends sit together. Jason and David were, like, split up from me, and they were also split up, so, like, we were all on opposite sides of the room. And I was sat next to this random dude. And I'd sat next to him pretty much every day throughout the 7 days with no problem. He was quiet, I was quiet, nothing crazy, right? We'll just call him Ryan, okay? Well, I don't know what the fuck had gotten into Ryan on this day, but he looked really pissed about something. He looked, like, upset about some shit. It got to a point where, like, halfway through class, I was concerned for the dude. I saw tears running down his cheek, and, like, he was crying. So I looked over and I was like, yo, man, like, you okay? Like, trying to check up on the dude, you know? I want to make sure he was good. And he looks at me and he goes, shut the fuck up, mind your own business. And I was like, oh, all right, bro, like, my bad. Like, okay. And he goes, is something funny? Are you laughing right now? I was like, nah, man, like, I wasn't laughing at you. I was awkwardly laughing. And he goes, why don't you shut the fuck up? How about that? How about you don't laugh? How about you don't talk? How about you stop looking at me, look at the fucking teacher, and shut the fuck up? Yeah, clearly Ryan was having a terrible fucking day. I don't know who shit in his Frosted Flakes that morning, but he was clearly having a horrible day. And there was a part of me that wanted to kind of press the issue and be like, yo, you're being rude, like, you should chill. But also, I didn't know what he was in there for. I didn't know why they had him in this program. It could have been something as simple as, like, he stole from the store, or, like, maybe he beat up an old lady or something, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. And I didn't want to test it, because if I shit-talk this dude, who knows, like, what he's going to do, right? I didn't want to get in more trouble than I was already in with my parents and at this program and stuff. So I didn't press the issue. I just ignored him. I looked back at the teacher, and I just started trying to, like, pay attention and lock in and not talk to this dude at all, because clearly he was just having a shitty day. Well, then, like, 10 seconds later, he starts trying to start some shit with me. He looks over at me and he's like, what kind of weirdo tries to burn down an elementary school? What the fuck is wrong with you? And I was like, bro, why does everyone think I tried to burn down an elementary school? Like, it wasn't intentional. We were having a fire and some shit went down on accident. It was not intentional. And he goes, oh, so you accidentally tried to burn down an elementary school. And also, the school's fine. The wall's a little charred up, but it's fine. And he's like, yeah, whatever, dude. And I was like, what the fuck did you do to get in here? How about that? What'd you fucking do? Seems like everyone knows what I did, but no one knows what you did. And I guess I raised my voice a little bit too loud because the dude talking, the teacher / former inmate or whatever, he was like, Austin, you gotta say something? And I was like, no, I'm sorry. And he goes, all right, please keep it to yourselves. Stop talking. And he goes back to talking, right? And Ryan's smiling at me now. Like, he's smiling that I got yelled at or some shit. I don't know. And I just ignored him. I went back to trying to pay attention, trying to lock in. And once again, he tries to start some shit with me. This dude really goes, yeah, you're lucky that teacher's here, because if he wasn't, we'd be throwing hands. So now he's, like, trying to say he'd be fighting me if that teacher wasn't there, right? I look back over at him, and I was like, bro, no, we wouldn't. Stop lying. And he's like, you think I'm lying? I was like, yeah, because if you want to throw hands, you'd throw hands right now. You wouldn't have someone stop you. He's like, oh, yeah, is that so? I was like, yeah. He's like, really? I was like, yeah, prove me wrong then. Prove me wrong. He goes, all right, we'll see. And he just, like, locked in the rest of class. He just, like, went back to not saying shit to me and just, like, sitting there. And before I continue, let me just say, I should not have talked the way I did to him at that point. I definitely just, like, got fed up with it. And I was trying to press the issue and, like, be a little drama starter. But I shouldn't have did that. I should have just, like, you know, kept my mouth shut and just ignored him and just, like, not gave him any attention. So that's my bad. But anyway, the whole rest of class goes on without any problems. He doesn't say shit to me. You know, I don't say shit to him. And now I'm wondering, I'm like, what does he mean by, like, we'll see? Like, what's about to happen? Is he about to, like, sneak up on me at some point throughout the day and, like, stab me with a plastic fork or something? Like, what's about to happen right now? Well, later on that day, lunchtime rolls around. And I sat with David and Justin. They let us sit together at, like, our own table. And at our table was some other, like, faculty member or something, one of the people that, like, worked at the program. and there was like a cop nearby, like a corrections guard or something, like nearby watching, and that dude, the one Ryan that I was arguing with earlier, he's at a table like right across from me, and he keeps looking up at me, giving me a death stare, like staring at me. And David and Justin both notice it, and they're like, "Yo, why does that dude keep staring at you?"
Get any pizza with any toppings for just $9.99 online. Try the Domino's viral pizza or invent a new one.
Value of having a partner is huge. Finding someone you can trust is what really builds the business from the base.
And I was like, he don't like me very much. And he's like, yeah, you guys were talking during class. Like, what was going on? I was like, bro, he was crying in the middle of the class, and I was worried about him. So I asked if like he was okay, and like wanted to make sure he was good. And he snapped on me, bro. Like he got mad and like started trying to like fucking press an issue. And I was like, just kind of not in the mood for it. And then David's like, he looks like he wants to fight you, bro. I'm like, yeah, he kind of threatened that. We'll see though. And for the most part, lunch is fine, right? Nothing really happens. It's after lunch where things take a turn. So after lunch on this day, everybody was going outside. We were going outside. I can't remember for what because I didn't get there to do it. We were going outside and we were going down the hallway in a big group, right? And like the faculty members are there and like there's like corrections officers helping us walk out there. And out of nowhere, from behind me, I see an arm go around my neck and another arm go around that arm, and they put me in a fucking chokehold and slam me to the fucking ground, dude. And I turn my head to the left while I'm on the ground, and I see none other than Ryan with me in a chokehold. And I'm like, all right, here we go. So I start swinging over like his arms and punching him repeatedly until he lets go of me, which he did. I got loose, and we both get up and get like into stance to start fighting, and it was too late. Everyone broke it up, like the faculty members, the officers, whatever. And immediately, me and Ryan both got escorted to like this office, and in there was an officer, and like a minute later, that Lisa woman walked in, and she sits down, and she goes, "Austin, Ryan, really? You couldn't make it one last day without getting into trouble?" And I was like, "I'm sorry, like, you put me in a chokehold. I had to defend myself." And she goes, "You know, you boys gotta be the first people ever to get kicked out on the last day of the program." And I was like, "I'm sorry, I didn't want to do it." And then Ryan looked at me and he's like, "Yeah, you fucking did. You were egging me on." And I was like, "Yeah, fair enough." And let me just say, I'm not bragging by any means about hurting somebody, because that's fucked. But like, he like slammed me on the ground and he took the whole fall. Because he like grabbed me from behind, right? And then he like went backwards to slam me on the ground. But we just landed on his left shoulder. Like, he took the entire fall. Like, my head didn't even hit the ground because I just landed on him. Like, literally, he got the most hurt in this fight. Because he slammed on the ground, then I hit him to get released. The only kind of pain that I had was I couldn't breathe for like literally 4 seconds. So I didn't get hit once. He essentially hurt himself by attacking me. Anyway, so Lisa, or whatever her name was, she ends up calling up my parents and telling them, like, come pick me up because I got kicked out. And his parents, Ryan's. And my mom and my dad both showed up together. And they came in the office before Ryan's parents got there. And my mom goes, "Austin, I don't even know what to do with you. Like, this was the last resort. Where am I going to send you now? I can't send you anywhere because you got kicked out of the place that we could send you." And I tried telling her, I was like, "Look, I didn't want to do that. Like, I was trying to be nice to this dude, and then he got butthurt and started a problem." And she's like, "I don't care. Why are you talking to people in class to begin with? You shouldn't be talking to anybody. You should be paying attention, not talking to people." And I was like, "Yeah, well, still, I was trying to be nice, not fight." And she's like, "Whatever." And then Ryan's parents showed up, and Ryan's parents were actually really cool. They ended up making friends with my parents, and they were really cool. And me and Ryan were just sitting there after literally attacking each other, just like looking at each other with rage because we didn't like each other very much. And yeah, I had to get in the car and get sent home early because literally on the last day of the program, I got kicked out for fighting. Anyway, I got home, and I remember the whole rest of that day, I was just waiting for David and Justin to get out so I could call them. And I did. When they got out later that night, I called them like in like a group call, and I was like, "Yo, I got kicked out on the last day." And David's like, "Yo, I heard that fight was crazy. Like, bro, like he didn't even hurt you." And I was like, "I know." And yeah, essentially, I just like spent the next like 2 hours talking to them about it and like just talking about how the last day went with them and stuff. Now, you probably think the story time's over. You probably think, all right, like you went there, you got kicked out, you got your punishment, like whatever, right? Well, no, not really, because I got kicked out on the last day. My mom obviously was very upset with me, and so was my dad. So what ended up happening is they made me go live with my uncle for like a month. And I didn't like my uncle that much, so that kind of sucked. I had to like live somewhere else for a month, so that was kind of ass. Didn't like that very much. I will say, however, like in the grand scheme of things, for how bad of a fuck up that was, like that fire and that whole situation, the punishment I got, it could have been worse still. It could have been way worse. I could have literally went to a juvenile detention center and like gotten arrested and charged and stuff. So the fact I didn't is incredibly lucky, like winning the lottery lucky. But the story time doesn't end there. The story time actually has one of the funniest / like craziest endings, in my opinion, out of many of my stories. So like 5 years later, right? At this point, I'm not even in school anymore. I'm living out in LA, doing YouTube full time. Like, obviously this whole situation was way in the past, right? All this stuff that happened. This was literally back in 7th grade. So I'm not even thinking about it at this point. Well, one night, I'm visiting home, right? I came back to New York from LA. I was visiting home because it was my friend's birthday, and he wanted to go to some club. I don't really like clubbing that much, but I was like, yeah, fuck it, let's do it. And we're at this club, and we're in this town about 45 minutes away from where I grew up, and this guy DJing is doing a pretty good job, right? Like, he's playing some good music, he's DJing, doing his thing, playing some bangers, playing a lot of shit that I grew up on that I really liked. And I keep looking at him, and I'm like, yo, this guy looks so familiar. Like, why do I know that guy? Like, I swear I've seen him before. And I kept like thinking like, all right, well, maybe I've seen him on Instagram or something. Maybe I saw him on like one of my friend's stories or something. Like maybe I just recognize him from Instagram. But then I'm like, nah, I don't think I've ever seen him in a story. Like, who is this guy? And the rest of that night goes by, right? And finally, like the club's closing and we're all leaving and the DJ is walking out with us. He's like going into his car, like packing up his DJ gear. And I just like gave him a compliment. I was like, yo, dude, like sick set. You played some bangers, like good shit. And he's like, thanks, dude. And then he looks at me and kind of like gives me a look of like, I think I know you from somewhere. The same look I was giving him all night. And I was like, you know me from somewhere, don't you? He's like, yeah. I was like, dude, I was thinking the same fucking thing. Like, I swear I know you from somewhere. And then right after I said that, it just like hit me. I was like, holy shit, is your name Ryan? And he goes, my name is Ryan. How do you know that? And I was like, dude, I'm Austin. We met at that like program at that prison. And he goes, holy fucking shit. It was literally the dude that I fought at this fucking program, dude. Like, he was a DJ at this club. And we both looked at each other and like we're both kind of giving each other that look of like we didn't know whether to like still be mad at each other or like laugh at it. And I couldn't even be mad, bro. I just smiled and I was like, holy shit, dude, small world. He starts laughing. He's like, yo, how have you been? And I was like, good, man. Haven't gone back to prison since that day. And he's like, yeah, man, me too. I guess it worked, I think. And I was like, yeah, man, you're DJing for a club. That's pretty sick. And he's like, yeah, dude, I do the teen nights here. Because the club we were at, we were all teenagers. Like, we were all like 18, 19. So the club that we were at, every, I think, Saturday or Sunday, they would do a teen night. So if you were over 18 but like under 21, you could go and like dance and listen to music and stuff. Obviously, you couldn't drink because, if you're under 21, you can't drink in the States. But it was still a cool thing to do. So yeah, he was telling me that he did like all the teen nights at this club and shit like that. And he was like making money DJing. And I was like, that's so sick, dude. And he goes, bro, I'm sorry I tried to like choke slam you that day. And I was like, it's good, bro. Like, we were kids. Like, it's fine. He's like, nah, dude, like, that was fucked up. I was just having a really bad day. And like, you were just asking me about it. And I was just being shitty, man. And I was like, nah, man, you're good. I shouldn't have like poked my nose in your business, bro. Like, it's fine. He's like, nah, dude, like, it really wasn't even that big of a deal. I should have just told you. And then one of my fucking friends goes, well, tell him now. Tell him now. And I was like, bro, shut up. Like, don't get involved. And this Ryan dude, the DJ, he's like, all right, man, well, my dog passed away like a couple days before that. And I was just still really sad about it. And it kept hitting me in waves. And I was like, dude, I'm so sorry to hear that. He's like, it's good, man. I'm fine now. And, bro, like, we made up. It was really crazy. Like, we made up 5 years later. And we ended up, like, dapping each other up. And, like, he took a Snapchat with me and, like, sent it to his mom. And she responded, like, holy shit, Tell him I said hi. It was just really crazy. And we ended up becoming cool. Like, we follow each other now. And, like, whenever I'm home and, like, if we go to, like, clubs and stuff, he'll still clubs in my area. So, like, sometimes when I go out, I'll see him around. And, like, he's really cool. Like, surprisingly really, really cool. So, I don't know. It's not every day where you get to, like, make friends with somebody that you were an enemy with. So, it was pretty cool that that was the outcome of this entire situation. Like, just wild. Absolutely insane. But yeah, all in all, in the end, everything was okay. I learned some very valuable lessons, such as don't play with fire. If a fire starts, call 911, obviously. Try your best to avoid fighting people, obviously. Yeah, I don't know, man. Basically, the moral of the story is, do not do a single fucking thing that I talked about in this story. Please. I never want to have to hear that any of you end up in a similar situation. That would suck. But yeah, just an absolutely insane chain of events. I could probably make 8 different videos based on the stories that took place in this one video, but I figured I'd drop another hour-long commentary on you guys. You guys seem to like these, so if you guys keep showing the support, I will happily keep doing them, because honestly, I could yap forever. Oh, I completely forgot to mention, before I end this, David and Justin also met the DJ dude like a year later. I went out to a club with them, and like, I introduced them, because he wanted to meet them too. So that was cool. Anyway, yeah, that's the end of the story time. That's it. That's everything. In the end, everything was okay. Besides those trees in the woods, those got charred and burned pretty bad, but they cleared those out pretty quick. Within like a week, those trees were gone, and the school was all fixed up. They like redid the side of the school like literally a week later. So in the end, everything was okay. Everybody was good. Definitely could have gone a lot worse. I'm very happy that like we weren't stupid and we called the police, because if we didn't, that could have been way more damage. We're also really lucky that our school was made of brick, because if the school wasn't made of brick, it probably could have burned down very easily. So, yeah, shout out to that, I guess. But yeah, that is the story of how me and my friends accidentally started a little forest fire and accidentally lit my old elementary school on fire a little bit and had to go to a correctional facility for 7 days, and I got into a fight there, and all the other stuff that happened in this story. Like I said, a bunch of shit. So yeah, guys, if you enjoyed this, please leave a like on the video. I would really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below, and subscribe if you're new. I'll see you all tomorrow. Peace.
I gotta switch flame, bitch, you know that it kills. I remember everybody telling me how to feel. I got less yours, evil bitch, broke my heart. Now I'm cutting bitches off, leave that shit in the dark. I'm on one, 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 I'm on one.
Okay, so before this video starts, this is like a million stories in one, and it all leads into each other, so trust the process. If you're watching the video and you're like, yo, this isn't what the title says,